What's up, everybody? We're live. We're live after a 2 week break. What's going on? It's your boy Adam in the house. The same house that I was in 2 weeks ago. Little clickbait title for all the fans of the channel because I knew you'd see the thumbnail and say, oh my God, he had to move. No, thank God I didn't have to move myself. That would have been a major hassle. No, I'm content where I live right now. Landlord's cool. He's laid back. He's easy to get along with. He fixes things really fast. Um, we had an issue. I found out this is kind of a weird place. What's up, Mike Stevens? You're gonna don't, be careful. You're gonna get yourself in timeout again if you're not nice to everybody. So, um, I got this weird thing at this place. So there's a bunch of little houses all on this property, and I've got a huge water tank in my bathroom. It's like a full size 50-gallon hot water tank. And so I never run out of hot water. I could take a shower for 6 hours and probably not run out. And the opposite of the last place I lived, where I had a slumlord who wouldn't fix the hot water for 3 straight months. Um, but I found out because there's another house on this property that landlord told me the other day that my hot water tank feeds both houses, which explains a lot because at random times of the day and night, that hot water tank would just turn on and I'd be like, why is that turning on? But whatever, I don't care. But I guess the well pump broke the other day. I wasn't home. So he asked me, he said that my neighbors didn't have hot water. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm not home. I can't check. Let you know when I get home. A couple hours later, I get home. It's like 9, 10 o'clock at night. I send him, I give him a quick call. I'm like, I don't have water at all. No water at all. And I'm like, so I was like, all the circuit breakers are good. Must be a well pump issue. And he's like, okay, I'll take care of it. I thought like I'll take care of it meant tomorrow. I didn't care. I didn't care at all. And so like an hour later there's a knock on the door and I'm like, huh? And I get up and I go over. It's like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. It's the landlord. He's out there. He's like, hey, check your water. And I check the water. It's good. He's like, yeah, I just fixed it. It was the well pump. I needed to this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, he thought that's how fast the guy fixes stuff. Like I've been here over a year. If there's anything that's ever been broken, he's over here, either him or somebody else. I'm telling you, it's never been more than 2 or 3 hours before he fixes whatever it is. It's the opposite of the guy, the slumlord scam artist that I lived with or lived under, where he wouldn't fix anything. Didn't have hot water on the first day. And 3 months later, it was 3 months, 3.5 months for me to get hot water. And I left like 2 weeks later because he was trying to scam me by raising the rent in the middle of a lease term. And I left him hanging. I left him worse off than he would have been if he'd left me the fuck alone, that's for sure. Um but we're going to talk about him. Actually, I am going to mention him again later in the episode because it goes right along with something that happened to me in the last 2 weeks. But the title of the video is called "Moving is Such a Pain," whatever the actual title was. Um, what's up, Carlos? What's up, John S, aka JS? What's up, Carlos Espinoza 1358? Haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. We got 8 people up in here. All right, it's time for a party. This is a good sized party, man. We don't need 10,000 people in the chat. with the thing scrolling so goddamn fast that I can't even see anything that you type. Um, but anyway, get them thumbs up going. I got one thumbs up and 8 people. Come on, people! I need thumbs up for the. I got that's the only uh, plug I'm doing right now. Just because the YouTube algorithm, I'm the most shadow banned guy on the whole platform. So do you got to do what you got to do if you want this channel to grow. I personally don't care anymore. I'm just doing what I do because I'm having a good time with it. But whatever. If I can I would love to make a living sitting around bitching about the government all day, like an Alex Jones or whatever. Um, I can even talk like that. I can even, I could do it. I could talk like that. I got the documents. I got the documents. They're in my desk right here. Um, why not, man? Why not? Who wants to work in an economy where I could sell my tits and a vagina on OnlyFans for 60 grand a month if I had those to sell? Cock, probably make like 50 bucks a month if I'm lucky. I'd probably have to it'd probably take me 4 months of selling cock on OnlyFans to reach the minimum payout. About the same amount of time it takes me to get the YouTube minimum payout right now. So, but if I had a vagina, you'd never see me again. I'd be on OnlyFans. Fuck, who cares? I make 60 grand a month for like a year and I'm out. um Even a flappy old 50-year-old hairy vagina would probably make a bank on OnlyFans. If I was 50 years old and that's all I had to work with, I could still make bank. Um, but anyway, the title of the video, now that we got people in the house, y'all wondering, oh my God, you see the same background. It's not fake. It's not like a drop cloth that I hang up behind me. I would have done a much better job if on my YouTube background, I'd have all the fake books that I don't read and a bunch of statues and a bookshelf and all the crap that all the influencers have. But this is my real deal. This is where I live. Um, I had to move digitally. Um, Web hosting companies, servers, that kind of stuff. So I'll dig into that topic for a minute. There's some stuff in this topic that is actually a pretty wild story. Um, so I went with this a company called InMotionHosting.com. They're one of the bigger web hosting companies, but they're good. And they used to have really good tech support, really, really good tech support. I've been using them for like between 10 and 15 years for every website I deal with that I control the hosting of. And one tech support chat or a phone call every 6 months to a year gets responded to like that and fixed. Whatever your problem is will get fixed in the blink of an eye. And even if the problem was my fault, they would fix it and be like, no, no worries, man. We got you. Like maybe I configured something wrong or whatever. Or I'm just not seeing, need a second set of eyes to figure out what the hell's broken. So there's been times where I would be like, oh, my bad. And I'd hit my, face palm. I shouldn't have even had to reach out to you for that. Sometimes it's their fault. Um, 10 plus years, no problems ever with this company. Then over the last 3 months, the enshittification of everything has hit this company hard. They are finally too big to care. Great companies, and we talk about this all the time on this channel, but I call it, George Bush said that when the banksters went to Las Vegas and gambled all of our money in the stock market, lost all of it, train wrecked the economy, and left us holding the bag. George W. Bush said, well, that's because they were too big to fail. So we had to bail out those companies so that all the executives, the CEOs could get multi-million dollar bonuses at the end of the year because they didn't have any more money of their own to pay themselves. They should have went out of fucking business. But George Bush said they were too big to fail. So that's what I call a company these days when they are too big to care. The companies grow to a point. Amazon, companies that are known for great customer service will grow and grow and grow, and the customer service will be a big factor in that growth. And then what happens? IPO, they go public, private equity jumps in, venture capitalists jump in. They get bought out, they merge, acquisitions, whatever. And all of a sudden, you wake up one day and this company just became too big to care. And it literally means they got so big that they don't give a shit about you as the customer anymore. They don't give a shit at all about you. They don't give a shit if you leave. If you threaten to close your account or no longer do business with them, they're like, fine, fuck you, bye. They don't care. They do not care. Um, they call it in the board meeting, they call it customer churn, right? They have accepted that the new way that they're operating, where they don't give a shit about you and they're ripping you off, they know that they're going to drive people away with that. But they also know that new customers will come on board. And as long as they continue to grow and the profits grow, the profit is the key word, they're going to be happy. In fact, if they can make more profit with fewer customers by changing how they operate, and by that I mean ripping you off, treating you like garbage, poor service, all of it going downhill. If they can change the way they do business, begin ripping you off for profit, and let's say a quarter, 25% of the customers leave the company, but the books at the end of the year show that they actually made more money, not as a percentage, but literally more money at the end of the year with 75% of the customers that they used to have, but they're making more money than they did before, then that's going to be considered a sound business decision at the board meeting. So companies will do this shit on purpose. You see it everywhere. They're calling it, the term that I see on YouTube and everywhere else is the enshittification of everything. JS says, yeah, these types of companies, they don't even have a customer service phone number. It's now a form you fill out and they may get back to you. They don't even have people front facing the customers. Google, Google, tell me the phone number to get a hold of Google. Good luck. I worked for a company one. I've got so many damn stories about Google and Apple. Apple has phone numbers, but they don't give a fuck about you. Google doesn't give a fuck about you and they don't have a phone number. I worked for a company in Pittsburgh at some point in my past. It wasn't my job. SEO, search engine marketing, and pay-per-click advertising, Google AdWords, and all of that was not my job. But I was on a team of 30 people in a marketing department, and the person who sat next to me, that was her job, and we were friends, and we were, all 30 of us were really good friends. We all got along great. One of the best group of people I ever worked with. Well, Google shut off their AdWords account, kicked them off of the pay-per-click advertising platform, and this company was spending 70 grand a month. This company was spending $70,000 a month with Google for paid advertising, and Google was like, fuck you, we don't care. The vice president of marketing was in his office with the door closed, screaming at the top of his lungs because he couldn't get a hold of anybody. I don't even know. They found a fucking phone number to try and get a hold of Google. I don't know how they did it, but I just remember, and he was a funny guy, and he used to throw temper tantrums like crazy. Love the guy though; he's freaking hilarious. One of my best people I ever worked for. They could not, for the life of them, find somebody at Google to fix the problem for, I want to say like 3 months. $70,000 a month times 3 months, that's over 200 large. Google didn't give a fuck. Like, what kind of company doesn't give a fuck about 200 grand? 2100,000, $210,000. We don't fucking care. That's like lunch. That's Jeff Bezos's lunch on his yacht. Like this Mark Zuckerberg dickwad, I think it costs him for the yacht, the $4 billion yacht that he owns, that he might get on and go float around for 1 week of the year. It costs $90,000 a day just to keep the yacht on the fucking at the dock. So no, if Mark Zuckerberg's paying 90 grand a day just to have a yacht that he might use once in a while, do you think these fucking companies give a fuck about you? Even if you're paying them 70 grand a month and they still treat you like go fuck yourself. They're still sending you to India for tech support. They're nowhere to be found when there's a problem. And this was a company that made devices for handicapped people, communication devices for handicapped people. It wasn't like they were getting banned for pornography or anything illegitimate. Like, they got banned from trying to help handicapped people. I mean, it's fucked up, dude. It's fucked up. And no, these companies do not give a fuck about you. And that's what happened to this web hosting company. InMotionHosting.com is their website. They do not give a fuck. Restaurant. Like, let's just look at it in the terms of like a small business, a restaurant. Let's say you're a restaurant owner, right? You have lines of people out the door. So you're like, fuck it, let's double our prices. And all a third of the customers are like, fuck you, we're never going to eat there again. All right, but now there's no more lines at the door and the tables are always full. And now we're making twice as much money off of each table flip as we were prior to doubling our prices. So, as a restaurant owner, you would consider that to be a sound business decision. You're making twice as much money, but you went and pissed off half of the town, and half of the town hates you and they don't want to eat there again. But you still got you still got a full restaurant. So that's how but that happens on a larger scale. Amazon, Google, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, InMotion Hosting, whoever the fuck it is, they do not care about you. Once they get to a certain point where they're just like, when they start talking about customer churn, when they start using that term, boom, they don't give a fuck about you anymore. You're just a churn. You're a customer churn. Chum and churn are very similar in phonetics. So you're just chum in the water. They don't give a fuck about you. So I have some different, oh my God, this now here's where it gets crazy. The reason why I had to move all of the websites that I deal with and maintain started out with some performance issues. I use a website called downnotifier.com where you can enter in URLs that of websites that you want to watch. You can watch other people's websites if you want. But I enter in all the URLs of websites that I maintain. And then if the website goes down, I get a notification in my email. Hey, such and such website is down. Such and such website is back up. It's okay. I mean, yeah, it happens from time to time. I don't get all uptight about it if it goes down every now and then. If it's 99% uptime means it's still going to go down here and there. Well, I've been getting these notices like it was like once every 3 months, and now it's all of a sudden starting to become like 3 times a week. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe an hour. It varies, but I'm getting these notifications. It used to be like once every 3 months, I'd get one notification. Site would be down for 5, 10 minutes, be back up, middle of the night, fine, whatever. Now I'm getting it like 3 times a week for each website going down, even if it is 5, 10 minutes. But it was getting worse. So this one night, I got a down notifier message about my client's website, the one that I helped him write the book. And I didn't think much about it because I'm like, I've been getting these on the regular. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm really not going to, but I decided, oh my God, I decided to go look at the website. Now, I can show you what happened actually. I think I got, oh, come on. Okay, I got it. Okay, here we go. All right, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen here in a second. So I logged into I got a down notification. GoDaddy sucks balls. Fuck, dude, I would never give them $1. GoDaddy is the worst fucking web hosting company in the world by far. Yeah, but that's what that's what people know. That's what the general public knows right there because you said I only remember it because Danica Patrick. Yeah, big titty race car drive. Once again, we were just talking about this. Synchronicity. How I could sell my tits in a vagina if I had them, but I don't. Danica Patrick was a race car driver. Bitch never won a fucking race in her life. Big titties and a vagina. She gets to be the most famous race car driver, making tons of fucking money on GoDaddy and all these other sponsorships. Motherfucker, if I was in NASCAR, I would have to at least win one fucking race just to have a sticker on the side of my car that says they sponsor me. And they're probably just going to pay for fucking tires. All them stickers on my car driving around the race car track. If I was in NASCAR, I could win 10 fucking races and barely get enough money from sponsorships to pay for my fucking gas, my tires, my engine changes every fucking week. Every time I get hit in an accident or hit the wall and have to build a new car and everything else that goes with being in NASCAR, I'll barely fucking get by. But here comes this big titty fucking bimbo with tits and a vagina. Bitch never won a fucking race. And she makes millions and millions of dollars on GoDaddy, and all the stickers on her car pay her like $10 million a year. Fuck that bitch. So, anyway, no, GoDaddy fucking sucks. They're the worst. They're the absolute worst. Like I can't even think of a worst. I would rather have a fucking 10-year-old MacBook set in my closet running a website on Wi-Fi served out through my T-Mobile home 5G router to the whole internet. I would trust that more than I would trust a website hosted on GoDaddy. But anyway, um anybody who does what I do for a living will tell you straight up, oh my God, not GoDaddy. Do you know how many clients I've had over the years where I go and take over their websites and they're like, oh yeah, we have it on GoDaddy. And I'm like, fuck. Because it's gonna be a big pain in my ass to fix that problem, just the fact that you have it on GoDaddy. And then when I rebuild it, when I get it all up and they're like, "Holy shit, this is so much better. It's fast." And like they don't know anything about it, but they know when they go to their website, it's like boom, 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 lightning fast and speedy, and it's easy to maintain, and it like everything fucking works. It doesn't go down all the time. Oh, and GoDaddy has the worst business practices. Shit, that's not the topic of tonight's show. I could talk about them for an hour. So I'm talking about inmotionhosting.com, which can go suck a dick with GoDaddy. They can go beat off together in a circle jerk for all I care. And that's the perfect segue as to what happened. So, down notifier one night sends me an email saying that my client's website is down. And I don't think too much about it because, this is happening. I figure 15 minutes will go by and I'll get an email saying it's back up. But I'm laying in bed and I'm like, fuck it. Let's go see if it's a false alarm. And boom, This fucking pops up instead of my client's website. A ballsy sense of tumor. Here's a logo with a penis and a ball sack. Here's pictures of ball sacks and penises and testicular cancer. It- but this is a legitimate fucking website I found. I thought somebody hacked into my client's site and put up a bunch of fucking penis pictures. And it turns out it's actually an actual website. How to do a self-exam. Here, let's look at pictures. Oh, look at that. Here's how you rub your own fucking ball sack. Every fucking client, every fucking website that I maintain showed up with a bunch of fucking cock pictures, how to grab your balls and squeeze your testicles to check for fucking cancer. Here, check your ball sack. Girl, look at that. Look at your hairy ball sack. Boy, it would be nuts to avoid making that call. Take 2 and 4 for the boys or whatever. 2 for the boys. Like a fucking seriously, a fucking website covered in penis pictures. Every fucking website, including my own, was popping up with penis pictures. This. And so the technical explanation for what happened is I was on what was called a shared hosting platform. GoDaddy does this. Low end web hosting is like this. So you'll have your website on a web server, and there could be 1,000 other websites on the same web server. Something happened with the underlying technology of the server and it broke. And so what happened, if you look at the URL here, a ballsy sense of tumor.com. So the first 3 letters are ABA blah blah blah.com. So what happened was something broke in the server's DNS routing, domain name server routing. So when you typed in any domain name, whatever the fuck.com, if it was on that web server, it could be thousands of websites. This website is the first alphabetical website on that server. So what happens is the DNS, when you call whatever you're looking for.com and it goes to this server, the server doesn't know which one of the 1,000 websites is the one you want to see. So it just sends you the very first website in alphabetical order that's listed on that website, which happened to be a ballsy sense of tumor covered in fucking dick pictures. So I was like, fuck this. I jumped out of bed. I get on the tech support, and put it this way, tech support at this company was like, forget it. Hold times were like 6 hours. Like, I guarantee you they had 10,000 fucking pissed off customers calling them, why are there cock pictures all over my fucking website? And it stayed like that for the whole night. They didn't get it fixed. The next day, I go to bed. I'm like, oh, Band of Ballers. What's on that page? Here we go. Like the whole thing. Testicular cancer 101. Oh, there's some more cock pictures. Hey, let's look at pictures of cock. Like what the fuck, dude? I literally thought someone hacked into my client's website and stuck a bunch of fucking cock pictures up there because I've got haters. So I had to harden up. I've had to harden up the websites I maintain just because, people gonna shitheads are gonna do shit. So, but fine. I could not figure out for the life of me how someone would have actually got in to be able to do something like this. Well, when I finally got a hold of somebody at the hosting company, inmotionhosting.com, they told me that no, we know about the issue, blah, blah, blah. We're trying to fix it. So I waited all night. I didn't wait. I mean, I was like, I got to go to bed, but I was all like, I was ready to fucking punch somebody. I was wound up. And so the next day, back on tech support, I call the phone number, I leave my phone on speakerphone sitting next to me, 3 hours on hold and nobody picks up. So people are fucking pissed. I'm blasting them on X. I'm posting on every time they post on X, I'm posting like, "Hey, can you take the cock pictures off my clients' websites?" Like I was blasting them all fucking day, being a total asshole, being a total dick. You're going to put dick pictures all over my website. Don't think I'm not going to be a dick back to you. Dick pictures from the hosting company. It'd be one thing if a hacker hacked into your website and put a bunch of dick pictures all over it. It's another thing when your web hosting company slathered your fucking website that you pay them to host with a bunch of dick pics. That's fucking wild. So I waited until I couldn't do anything about it. There was nothing I could do. There not literally no, I could not log into that server in any way, shape, or form while this was going on. I couldn't even log into the back end of things, etc. So I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of this company. So I started doing research as to like where do I want to move all these websites and where do I want to go moving forward because this company's done. But that's a pain in the ass, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I started looking into it, and I think this was like June. This happened back in June. It's now August. So June, July, and August, I've been having issues. Aside from the dick pictures showing up on the website, inmotionhosting.com. If you want your web host covering your websites with dick pictures, go to inmotionhosting.com. You know, all those people that do the commercials on YouTube, I'm just going to take a pause here and we're going to talk about Squarespace. Yeah. Well, if you want dick pictures all over your website, go to inmotionhosting.com. They'll cover your website with cock pictures, make your website go down 6 times a week and more. That's inmotionhosting.com. Tell them Adam sent you and you'll get 10% off. Right? So oh, they're gonna love me. Fuck those motherfuckers. But anyway, I had it on a shared host because the websites that I maintain don't get a lot of traffic. So it's not a big deal. They're fast. Why do I want to put it on some like really expensive top of the line server when I don't need that? It's overkill. As long as everything was working, the websites all ran quick. They were fast. And I could do other things, caching, Cloudflare caching, all kinds of little things to make them lightning fast. Like boom, you go to the website and it's just boom, the web page shows like there's no loading time. It's just boom, instant. Even if I put a bunch of big ass images and get bloated WordPress code and everything else, they still run fast. Um, so fine, I was like, I'm good with this. When I get some more websites that I have to maintain, a handful more websites, I'll have to upgrade to a better server at that point. So I'm already doing the research on this, and but the penis pictures covering my website that lit a fire under my ass. But I pay for a year in advance, so I'm trying to get through the year before I make my firm decision. But that year was coming up at the end of August. So when I asked them, I'm like, so what are you going to do to make good on the penis fiasco where all of our websites were covered in cock photos for a whole day? It was like 3, 4 in the afternoon the next day when they finally fixed it and the clients' websites came back up. And I'm like, so what are you going to do to make good on this? And they're like, we'll give you a free week of web hosting, one free week of web hosting, which extended my renewal date out an extra week. And I'm like, okay, fine, you fucking dicks. Like, for real? Can't even get a free month out of you motherfuckers for putting a bunch of dick pictures on my clients' homepages. You can suck a dick. Fuck you. So my renewal date was extended for another month. I just looked at it as if, well, I've got another week to figure out where I'm going to move all this stuff. And so I've already kind of been like, I had a company in mind and I'm so glad I did not do it. because I just, for something like this, you have to do your homework. And you really like, I'll get into, I mean, it'll make sense when I'm done telling the story, but you really have to do your research when, if you're just hosting a regular website and you're just like one guy with a small website for your business or your personal use or whatever, not a big deal. When you got like 5 to 10 websites that are complicated, have databases and lots of files and all kinds of shit going on, that's a bigger move. Like moving out of the shoebox, the tool shed that I was living in when the landlord, you know, when the landlord didn't fix my hot water for 3 months and I moved out the next month. Me and my best friend, I moved into that house in like an hour and a half, maybe. And the hour and a half was probably loading up the van with my stuff, driving to the new place, unloading the van. I think we could make it 2 hours if I had to count taking the van back to the rental place and coming back home. 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. Okay. When I moved out of the tool shed, me and my best friend, I started moving at like 9 a.m. At like 9:45 a.m., the place was cleared. Clear. Like there wasn't even dust left in that place. 45 minutes is all it took to get all my stuff out of there, pack it into another van, and bring it over here, 3 miles away. That's an easy move. Moving out of this place, I've accumulated some more stuff, furniture, and some stuff. Moving out of this place will be a bigger pain in the ass. The place that I was living in when the FBI came to my house, if I would have had to move out of that house, it would have taken me an entire month. If I could move to a place where I could drive between the two houses, it would have taken me an entire month, a month to move out of that house. So think about website hosting as living in a place that you actually live with all your stuff, except it's your digital stuff. So if you only got a couple of things, you can move over to a new website hosting company, lickety split. But if you got a lot of crap to move and figure out how to organize it and figure out a new system and all that. So I'm at that point where it's like I'm not so big that it's going to be a total nightmare, but I'm big enough where I need to do it once and not again for at least a year. At least a year, and hopefully for 5 or 10 I can just stay where I'm at. And if I grow, if I get like 5 to 10 more websites to maintain, then I definitely don't want to be packing up and moving every time something goes wrong. So you got to do your homework and figure out, you got to have a solid foundation to build your home. And so last week, Thursday, I go to do something to one of my clients' websites and I have to log in a certain way. Techies, it's called SSH. Um, I don't even know how to explain that. It stands for secure shell. You log into a remote computer with a terminal command line. Like using DOS on Windows machine, it's the same kind of interface, but it's secure and it's encrypted so that your communication back and forth with your server, it's as if you have your server on your own computer or you are directly logging into your server. So I need to log in that way sometimes on a website to do certain things. And it's not often, but I do. Well, it was broken on Thursday. And the problem, they were having some problems with their servers as usual, but the websites didn't go down. But the back end for me to be able to log in and do my job was broken. And they got it all fixed while I was waiting on hold with tech support. Must have been a big problem because usually their tech support will pick up within like 10 seconds. When they don't, that means that they've got a mountain of pissed off people hitting them all at once. So they must have had tons and tons of pissed off customers because the wait time was forever. It was crazy. All the services came back up while I was waiting on hold, except for my ability to log into my web server with SSH, secure shell. It was just the server just kept hitting me back with an error every time I try to log in. So after like an hour of waiting on hold, they finally pick up. And then I sat there for 3 hours arguing with this guy who kept telling me that it was my fault. And I know what I'm doing. I'm not a fucking retard. I was sending the guy proof, log files, error messages. He would ask me to do this, I would do this, I'd send him that. I mean, I gave them everything they needed to prove that it was a problem with them, not me. And this guy wouldn't stop arguing with me. And he goes, I'll write you a trouble ticket. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't need to write me a trouble ticket. You need to open up a terminal window, type one line of code, hit the enter key, and you will fix my problem on that server. You need to restart the SSH service on that server. It's one line of fucking code in a command prompt window like DOS. Open up your command prompt, type it in, boom, I'm good to go. I'll be fixed. You're gonna write me a fucking trouble ticket for that. They're like, yeah, we'll get around to it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll bet you will. So the next day, they still haven't fucking fixed it. And it's like noon on Friday, 24 hours. I still can't do what I have to do on this website. So I get on hold with them again. Once again, there's a queue. It's looking like it's going to be like I called them on the phone. I couldn't get through. I tried I decided to go to customer service chat. I'm like, I'm going to leave the company. They're like, we don't fucking care. You're too big to care. All that. And they just kept forwarding me to their tech support, and I had to keep waiting in line. So finally, I just left the tech support chat open in a side window. I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to move to a new web hosting company. And the previous day, I had researched and made up my final decision on which web hosting company I was going to move to. And I actually set up an account with them that night, Thursday night, like just the account, the billing account. But I didn't do anything. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to be sitting on hold with these jackasses all day. I may as well get her done. So I set up a server, set up web applications on the server for each website that I had to move over. And I just started doing it like step one, step two, step three, going through the whole fucking process. I had one of the websites pretty much moved over and backed up and ready to rock and live on the new server before the tech support guys from the old web hosting company jumped on to fix my problem. But I still had like four more to go. And so, but it went smooth. And I'm not going to say where I'm hosting them for security reasons and all that, but the new one's good. It's a better platform. Money wise, it's not even that much more. It's like $5 a month more, honestly, and I'm getting like $100 a month more service out of it. So I'm all right. I should have done this a long time ago, but timing. God, I think, did what he did because I think he's going to like make me get busier soon, and this is a prerequisite. If I do this now and get this pain out of my if I get this thorn out of my side right now while I can handle it, good. Because once I get busy, that's going to bring me down and make life difficult. So I'm glad I did this and I'm glad I got it out of the way. But like I said, it's exactly like moving. It's like the digital move. It's the digital version of moving out of an apartment and moving into a house, or moving out of a house and going to another house, getting a U-Haul, putting all your shit in it, taking it to the new house, unpacking it, figuring out where it all goes, trying to figure out how the fucking light switches work and all the new stuff at the new place. And it's exactly like that in a digital sense. Um, so like I said, by the time tech guy gets on with me, finally I got through to somebody at that company, argued with this guy for 2 hours. Finally, he got somebody on the chat who goes, "Oh, let me fix that for you." Hit refresh. Go back. I'm like, "Yep, fixed. Thank you." I waited like 24 hours, 24, 5, like almost 30 hours, spending 6 hours on support with this company for them to type one line of code, hit enter, and restart the service on the server so I could do my job. I'm like, I'm fucking done, dude. I'm done. That's the end of it. Lots of companies will be like that. They will be really good for a long period of time. And it's almost like overnight, Amazon customer service, Andy Jassy becomes the CEO. He don't give a fuck about the customers anymore. And it's gone downhill. It can happen that fast. It can happen in the blink of an eye where a company just they go from being top notch to being bottom of the barrel. And you just, that's the world that we live in. And I have no problem moving my stuff around. It's the time that it took away from me. Um, it took me from Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I worked at the bakery I took somebody's shift. Somebody was in a pinch, needed, they always call me, you know, Mix Master A gets called in to make a batch. And, whatever. It is what it is. I didn't want to go because I was in the middle of all this crap. But um, anyway, so the what was I saying? The move took a bit. Thursday when I started at about Thursday at noon, worked until like 9, 10 o'clock at night, gave it a rest. The next day, the hardest of I did the hardest website of all to move. Went through a few snags, a few bugs, but the first one took me 8 hours. The hardest one, the next one took 4 hours, and now they're going to take now the rest of them took like an hour to 2 hours each. Because the first time you do something, you're learning everything new. How does it work on this platform versus the old platform? They're not the same. Where's this? How do I set up that? Blah, blah, blah. You got to get your chops. Usually, the first time you do anything that's repetitive, the first one takes 10 times longer than the second, twice as long as the second time. And by the fourth or fifth time you've done the same process over and over again, you can do it lightning fast. What used to take you 8 hours you can get done in an hour because you don't have to go through that learning curve. And so, and this new server that I set up for hosting my websites, it's fucking badass. It's super badass. And it allowed me to do something even cooler. Like this, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to show you something cool in a minute. I could not do what I did yesterday on my old web server and that old platform because the thing that I had to install, I couldn't install it on that server because the server wouldn't run it. This new server, I was able to do something really freaking dope. And I can spin up websites and I could build websites really fast now. If it was just a website without WordPress, standard HTML website with just static pages that don't need a database behind them, boom, 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 I can knock those out. That's not really what I'm doing for people, but that could be something that I could do and get them up and running super fast, super fast. Um, so I don't know. The new platform opens up a lot of possibilities in terms of what I can do and the possibilities that it's like I've got a whole bunch more tools in the toolbox now just because I moved. Um, but when it comes, it's like I said, it's just like moving. Um, you've got different types of web hosting platforms out there. And you kind of have to search for the one that's going to fit you and your needs. And you can relate it to real estate. It's digital real estate. You have some services that are basically like digital storage units, like literally like a storage locker, a 10 by 10 storage unit. And it's there to back up your files and to put your junk in it. Keep your files backed up. Um, then they might have a version that's like a 24-hour access storage unit with a keypad so multiple people can get in and out of it. And that's more like a place to store your stuff, but other people are going to come in and out of it and get your stuff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in a climate controlled building, et cetera, et cetera. And that's like an Amazon S3 web service where you're hosting images for a big website. You've got a product catalog with 20,000 images, and they've got to be stored somewhere. And it's more economical to store them in a place like that, a digital storage unit like Amazon's S3 service. And then the kind of web hosting that I had that I was talking about, where all the websites are on the same web server, and there might be 1,000 of them on one server. Um, it's like an apartment building. That's like an apartment building with 50 apartments in it. A 10-story building with 50 apartments, shared web hosting. Y'all sharing the same plumbing, the same electricity, the same, all your poop goes to the same place. If the lights go out in the first floor, the lights go out in the whole building. You know what I mean? Like shared web hosting. And then you've got like what I just moved into, which is a virtual server environment where it's basically the same thing as if I bought a computer to be a web server and put it in my house and I'm serving all the websites from it. But it's virtual. It's not on Amazon, but it's on another company. And it's basically like my own server. I can do whatever I want on it, put whatever I want on it. And this company just holds it for you in their data centers. Um, and that's like a virtual environment. It's like a row house. It's like I don't know if you ever where there's like a bunch of row houses, like these yuppie developments where every house looks exactly the same, and it's just box, 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 box. And the only way that you know which house to go to is by looking at the number on the mailbox or the side of the house. I've got friends that live in places like that. And so each person gets it's not an apartment anymore. Each person gets their own house, but it's basically a cookie cutter, bang, bang, bang. Here's everybody's house, right? Maybe there's a little bit of differences. It's like a cul-de-sac, a modern cul-de-sac where all the houses generally look the same, but they're a little bit different. So it looks like a neighborhood, but it's all the same construction, the same contractor. You know what I mean? That's like a virtual server environment. Everybody's got basically the same server, but how you set it up and all that is kind of up to you, and what you build on it's kind of up to you. And a lot of those companies, there's different levels of it. So the company I chose, they'll hold your hand a little bit. So all the stuff that I'm not good at is the reason why I'm going to this company, because I know how to do enough. I haven't had to use their tech support yet. Not a single. I figured everything out myself. But there can come a day where I don't know how to fix something that breaks, or it might not even be my fault. And I need somebody to reach out to. If you go with like Amazon's virtual server, it's called AWS. You're on your own. That is literally like you bought a box and you put stuff in it, and Amazon ain't going to do a damn thing to help you if anything goes wrong with your application or your what you're building. You are completely on your own with no tech support at all. And so I can't, that's not for me. That's for big. That's for like big deal applications. Not small websites like the kind of stuff I'm doing. But my current server, oh, I've been banging away at it, and I love it. Every day I work with it, I love it more. It's really fun. I'm having a really fun time with it. I'm actually enjoying my work this last week. Even though I didn't want to do this, the more I'm learning about this platform and the more that I'm doing and the more tinkering I've done, I'm like, man, this is wild. This is so much fun. Fun. So it's cool, man. Um, but a true web server is like owning your own home, a data center, you know. You can take your phone, you could take a computer in your house, hook it up to the internet, put a website on it, and people can come find it, and it will work. It may not work good, and if a million people try to go to it, it ain't gonna work. But Craig, he started his website with a piece of shit old used Macintosh. I want to say he bought it on Craigslist, but it didn't exist. So he probably who knows where the fuck he got it at the thrift store or some shit. He started Craigslist on a piece of shit old Mac that he bought and served Craigslist from his house. And obviously, as it grew and grew, even though Craigslist is all text and it's pretty simple looking, it's the level of traffic that it gets that makes it complicated when you've got millions of people going at the same time, just bang, 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 a million people at once all day long. That's when it gets to be a headache. But when he started it in San Francisco and it was just a small little Craigslist, he could run it out of his house. So you can do that. But there's a reason why you would put your website in a data center. And when I say data center, I know that the connotation these days is that it's a 150-acre monstrosity, where they're building the digital prison that they're going to enslave us in, and where all the flock camera data goes and all the AI shit and this and that. Yeah, that's a data center, but a data center could also be just a little office somewhere with a rack of servers. I used to work for Gab, the website that got me in trouble. I did some work for them for about 6 months, 6 to 8 months as a freelancer, helping them rebuild their platform. Long story short, um, they had to build their own data center. Um, they got kicked off of AWS. They got kicked off of all the platforms where they tried to host the app. So they're like, fuck it, we got to build our own. So they have physically had to buy the hardware and set it up someplace. And so even though you buy all your own computers and you've got racks and you've got servers and you've got all the stuff that you need, you still need to hook it up to the utilities. You still have to have pipes coming into the building, your ethernet, your I want to say carbon fiber, but your fiber optic lines, whatever it is that you're connecting to the internet with, you need something robust enough to give high speed to and from the building, the physical building, so that when a million people at once try to hit your website that you're hosting yourself in your little data center that you made, it can handle the traffic. And but they had to do it on their own. And that's the a true web server is like building your own home, buying a piece of land and building a house, and it's your house. It's not in a cul-de-sac. It doesn't look like everybody else's. Like you paid a contractor to come and build it. Like that's a true web server environment. So those are the different levels of web hosting that there are. And so like I said, I did my research. But there was this one company I was going to go with, and this is a pretty wild story. Um, there was a company called SiteGround that I kept hearing about. They're pretty big, and there were a bunch of benefits based on. I did my homework, and they were one of the ones that kept coming up. And they'll do enough of the hand holding for you, and it's really easy to set up their servers and their environments, and all the things that I don't like to do, they make easy. In fact, the service that I ended up going with is much harder, but but they hold my hand enough and automate enough of it that I don't I only banged my fist on the desk like a dozen times in the last couple of days. But I did have to use AI, and I basically had to have Gemini and Grok in front of me to ask questions whenever something would go wrong. And I had some other things, but that helped. But with the aid of being able to ask questions and get, not maybe not the correct answer every time, but I was able to get through the parts that were sticky by having good research available. And but this site ground is, I don't, they're not GoDaddy, but they're kind of, the more I started to look into them, the more they are kind of like GoDaddy ish in terms of scammy. And so one of the things they do, the first thing that I found out, because it was all good that I was reading about them, and all these people were talking about how great they are, how fast everything runs, how easy they are to deal with, good tech support, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like ready to go. But I don't know, there was like this spidey sense in me that was like, I don't know, Adam. I don't know. But out of everything I had looked for up to that point, they were the best option for weeks, several weeks. Well, then I found out they have a scam that they do. So when you sign up for a web hosting service, there's going to be different levels to pick from. And it'll be like the amount of RAM that you have, the amount of hard drive space that you have to store your files, the bandwidth that you're allowed to have, which means the number of people coming to your website and how many files are going back and forth over the internet. Um, a bunch of different levels. And so they offer all these really high levels at a really good price. But after you've been with them for a year, the price goes up by like 400%. So you'll pay like 60 bucks, maybe, for, oh, let's just say a low level package or a medium level package with them. They got like three tiers. The medium level package would have worked for me at least for a few months. They start out at like 60, 70 bucks a year, but then after the first year it goes up to like 30, 40 bucks a month. So it's like they get you after a lot of hosting companies do that. They get you after the first year. The place that I went with, they don't. Pricing's right up front. They bill you by the minute. There's a certain number of minutes every month, and they bill you for the amount of time you leave your server up and running, which is how most cloud servers work now. AWS, Amazon does that. But they tell you up front what the maximum you'll pay per month. If you're 24 hours times 7 up time, this is what it'll cost. So you're not going to get a surprise bill. But the siteground.com, I'm making up the numbers a little bit, but let's just say they advertise that you get 40 gigabytes of disk space on the web server to host your website. 40 gigabytes is a lot of space for hosting websites. Websites, I mean, a big website. What do I got here? I'm just going to look at some of my web. I'm going to look at my bigger webs. What do I got? The biggest website that I'm dealing with right now is 1.6 gigabytes, and that's not typical. There's a reason why, and I'll show you that one later. No, oh, it's 2.12 gigabytes. The next biggest website I'm dealing with is 340 megabytes. So, I mean, if you have 40 storage space on your server, I'm good for like the next 3 fucking years. SiteGround advertises big, like 40 gigabytes of space, this, that, and the other thing. And then they've got this small print bullshit. So they give you a certain number of what's called inodes. And a node, or they call it an inode, it's a file or a folder. The size doesn't matter. It's a single file or a folder on your server counts as an inode. And when you add up, like for a typical WordPress website, You'll basically use about 5 gigabytes of your 40 gigabytes that they give you before the inodes limit kicks in, and they won't let you upload any more files to your server. And then they're going to hold your shit hostage and demand that you pay them like $100 a month all of a sudden to host your websites because you went over your inodes limit. So they offer you 40 gigabytes of disk space, but they know that you'll never be able to use more than 5 gigabytes because you'll hit that file number limit. And it's arbitrary. It does not, it's a scam. It's a straight up scam. They're offering you, that would be like that would be like me buying a 10 terabyte drive, and then the company has a limit to the number of files I can put on it. And after I hit 1 terabyte on my 10 terabyte drive, the drive won't take any more files because I've used up the limit. I've got 9 empty terabytes of space on a hard drive I can't use because the company that made the hard drive won't let me put the files on it. That's the scam. That's a straight up scam. And I started reading about it, and that's what happens to people. They sign up with this company thinking that they've got 40 gigabytes of disk space to host all their websites. They get like to their third website, and bang, they can't upload any more files to their server, and the company goes, "Oh, you got to give us $100 a month now for that." So you never even got to use the disk space that you had available, the bandwidth, everything. They've got this little tiny thing buried in the fine print that will cap you out before you hit any of those limits in the big bold letters that they put on their pricing page. 50 gigabytes of space, all of this bandwidth, 20 gigabytes of RAM, or whatever the fuck the RAM is. It's probably like 2 gigabytes of RAM, but whatever it is, like they've got all these things listed out of what you get. And then they've got this small print that you don't notice and you never see. I saw it after the fact. Oh, by the way, if you use like 1/10 of what we told you we're giving you, your server will be locked out and you have to give us $100 a month to keep using it. And I'm like, get the fuck out of town with that. So I'm already like, I can't, no, 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 fuck that. I can't use that company. Fuck that. That's a scam straight up. Well, then I found out something else crazy about this company, SiteGround. Once again, here's my Squarespace. Once again, if you want to get screwed over and only be able to use 1/10 of the hosting space and the limits that you were advertised to receive, sign up with SiteGround for a limited time only. Tell them Adam sent you, and you won't get a discount at all. In fact, they'll charge you $100 a month more because I sent you. There's another plug. SiteGround.com. And here's another scammy thing about them. I went to their website a few times. Every time I visit the SiteGround website and I go back to YouTube, I see like 25 fucking ads from this SiteGround company all over YouTube every time I get on YouTube. And now when I use my Fire TV and I'm watching ads, the SiteGround ads are showing up everywhere I fucking go because they track you. Because I'm talking about it right now, I'm going to see a dozen ads in the next 24 hours from that company because they're just blasting the Big Brother ads all over them. That's very GoDaddy like. That's a very GoDaddy thing to do. And so I'm already like, they're kind of like GoDaddy the way that they advertise and market themselves. They've got this bullshit cap that they put on their plans. So they advertise that you're getting this big bucket of space to fill, and then it's like you got a 5 gallon bucket that you can fill, and after you put half a gallon in, they cap it and they turn off the hose and say, oh, you got to pay us $100 a month to use your 5 gallon bucket. They only let you use half a gallon out of the 5 gallons they told you had. So it's a scam. Well, then, holy fuck, dude, I found out some crazy stuff about this company. Sealed the deal. Like, I will never use this company. They're like right down there. They're GoDaddy, InMotion Hosting, SiteGround are all at the same ground level. In my mind, I'll never touch it. I won't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't fuck them companies with a stolen dick. Um, JS says it wasn't disclosed up front in very fine print that you would never notice. Big, bold, you get this, you get that. I'm not even going to bring up the website because I don't. I could. We're sitting here, I can do that, but I don't care enough to do it. So SiteGround, the seal of the deal was wild. This is one of the wildest things in web hosting I've ever heard of. So imagine you're a homeowner, you got an apartment, whatever. Imagine that the electric company came to your house when you're not home and they broke into your house and they rewired your circuit breaker without telling you, without, like, you have no idea they were even in your house. They changed all your breaker switches and they removed your thermostat from the wall and put a new thermostat on your wall to control your heating and air conditioning, and left all while you were at work or while you were on vacation or whatever, and then you came home and all your shit was changed. Or, like, imagine your landlord coming into, we're talking about how web hosting is like real estate. Imagine your landlord coming into your home when you're not home and rearranging all the furniture in your house, removing your bed and replacing it with a shitty futon. And then maybe they broke something and then they left, locked the door behind them, and you don't find out about it until after you get home from work or after you get home from your trip. What if the landlord broke into your place and cleaned it like you're living at a hotel and the maid service is coming in, and then dropped off a new piece of furniture and rearranged everything else in your living room to make space for it, and then just left without telling you anything about it? But all he did was upgrade your place and make it nicer. What would you do? What would you do? Put it in the chat. What would you do? You'd call the fucking police. You'd call the fucking cops and report a B&E. Someone broke in and entered your place without you knowing about it. The landlord, the electric company, the plumber, whatever the fuck, they can't just come in and do shit in your house without telling you first. Well, that's exactly what SiteGround did to over a million customers. Millions, like more than a million customers. I'm going to read you a post from Reddit. And it says, I'm just going to read word for word. I might paraphrase a little bit, but I'm going to tell you what they did. It's the exact same scenario I just told you, but in a digital form. It's that time of year again. Another large hosting company puts its foot in its mouth and potentially starts a wave of users leaving their service. Over the last weekend, this was just back in June, SiteGround rolled out a new WordPress AI plugin. Nothing wrong with that, but it's what they did next that really causes concern. In their wisdom, they decided to roll out the plugin to all of their clients, over a million websites that are hosted on their platform. And they installed their plugin and activated it on over a million websites all at the same time without telling any of the customers that they were doing it. So let's dig into that a little bit. They took a plugin. A plugin is basically, WordPress is a piece of software. It controls your website. Plugins are extra pieces of software that you add on to it. And it gives you additional functionality that you didn't get out of the box when you installed WordPress. A typical WordPress has like a dozen plugins behind it running different things, and it gives you a lot of freedom to how you want to build your website. You can be very flexible. You can build an online store, you can build a blog, you can build a video hosting thing, you can do a lot of different things. So they took a plugin that they wrote and they installed it on every single one of their clients' websites, and then activated their plugin on all the client websites. Tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people's websites broke the second they turned that plugin on. Websites went down, e-commerce stores went down, and people couldn't place orders. Um, that is no different than a landlord coming into your apartment and just rearranging the furniture and fucking around with your shit without ever telling you in advance that they were going to open the door. Not cool. It's not cool at all. um, they didn't make it clear. They didn't tell people that they were going to do this. And so this guy says, my personal problem too, me. With this is why I was like, fuck no. My personal problem with all this, aside from some random person installing a plugin on a live website that we know nothing about, that we don't need, is what happens to the data. Um, their fucking plugin would automatically put one of those little chat bot things on every fucking website in the bottom corner that says, "Hey, we'll talk to you. Click here to chat." And then the AI chat bot or whatever. I would be fucking pissed if all of my website, if I woke up one day and all my clients' websites had a little fucking word balloon at the bottom corner of the website. Hey, you can chat with me and a chat with a fucking robot. I didn't fucking ask for that. Wow, man. Wow. Um, but this is an AI plugin that they're installing on everybody's website with no knowledge. They installed this on over 1 million websites without telling a single person that they were going to have to that they were getting installed, and hundreds of thousands of websites broke because of it. That's a thing with WordPress. I don't go and fuck around with clients' websites on their live website. I do what's called a staging site, where you make a copy of it and you put it off to the side and you fuck around with that. That way you can see if shit's going to break. And if it breaks, you're like, you know what? I'm not going to do that over here because that's the live one. You do like a test version first. You don't just go, fuck it, let's make it live, like Bill O'Reilly. Fuck it, we'll do it live. That's what they did. They said, fuck it, we'll do it live to 1 million fucking websites and broke fucking tons of them. Um, so what are the chances? Like, you can control lots of aspects of your WordPress site and your e-commerce site, etc. But if this company is installing their plugin that they wrote onto your fucking website without your permission and then turning it on, they have complete and total access to your entire database now. So if you have an e-commerce shop, who's to say that their AI plugin that they just installed on your app and turned it on without your permission, did they just grab the databases of 1 million customers? So let's say you host a store and you have 20,000 customers in a year. You have a successful online shop and you've got 20,000 customer records in your database from everybody who bought your shit. Did SiteGround's plugin that they installed without your permission scrape your database to steal all of your customer data and everything about the 20,000 customers you have and send it back to them times 1 million? Times 1 million. That's just, you could have 20,000 customers on one shop, but they did this to 1 million people at once. Did they just make copies of 1 million people's databases and ship it off to Bold Grit to SiteGround Central to steal all of the data that they could out of it? Was that like a data theft scam so that they could gobble up, terabytes of data from 1 million people's websites and databases and build some sort of fucking bullshit mailing list or whatever, and basically to be able to sell people's private data? Like, it's fucking wild that they did that. They did this automatically on people's live websites without any consent or communication or anything. Like, a landlord broke into your fucking house, and moved all your furniture around and fucked with your appliances and did a bunch of shit and reorganized your bookshelf and took stuff out of your place and hauled it off, and you got home from work and you're like, what the fuck just happened in here? And maybe he broke something. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people's websites broke. So it'd be like the landlord came in, moved all your shit around, and broke the fucking leg on your couch, and now you got a fucked up couch after he left. Like, you'd call the fucking cops for that. Um, when even the shitty web hosting company that I just got rid of, they ask me permission to log into my server if I'm having a problem. They're like, "Do we have your permission to log into this so we can look at it ourselves?" They can log into your stuff to a degree, but certain things they can't because they won't know your password on your encrypted databases and stuff. They won't even be able to open them up. So they ask me permission and I say, yeah, go ahead. And sometimes they have to be like, how do I get, or, this and that and the other. And I have to work with them. But that's like calling the landlord because your plumbing broke. And then he comes and he knocks on the door. Hey, I'm here to fix the broken pipe. And you say, okay, come on in. And you open the door and you let him in. Not you go to fucking work. Now, when I lived with that slumlord, that scam artist slumlord in that tool shed that I was living in, that motherfucker would just let himself in. I would be at work. I'd get a notification on my phone. Here's the landlord rummaging around my fucking apartment. He never told me he was coming in. He never told me why. He never said anything about it after the fact. And I've got him on camera every time he did it. The only reason I didn't go after him is because I was getting the hell out of there. We were already having beef and getting into arguments and fights. And I was already on my way out the door. And so I made sure that I did not have anything in there that was valuable, or that, if he did anything, I would have caught him. So, but that's illegal. I could have called the cops on him and had him in trouble for doing that. But then that would have been more trouble for me. So, but anyway, a warning to all web designers and web hosting companies alike. If you're the web hosting company, if you're the apartment building owner, you don't just go and install something, modify something, break into a person's apartment without their permission. Just because it's your building, just because it's your server, doesn't mean you get to walk in anytime you want and just fiddle with people's live websites and just do whatever the hell and install a bunch of random shit on there that they didn't ask you for and they don't even want. And so on top of that, this company SiteGround is they're doubling down. Like, they're not even apologizing to people for breaking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of websites. They're not apologizing for it. They're not saying we'll never do it again. In fact, they've doubled down and they've basically said, we will do whatever we feel is in the best interest of our customers, blah, blah, blah. We take security as the utmost, this and that, and bullshit. Like, they had a PR guy write their fucking statements or whatever, because this is a big deal and they're getting put on blast. And I'm sure tens of thousands, if not more, people are ditching that company because of this. Anybody who hosts multiple websites for clients, fucking done. That's a deal. That's a debt. You're done. That's if I had a dozen websites hosted with them, the next day I wouldn't have zero websites hosted with them, or probably 3 or 4 days. It took me about 3 or 4 days to move all the shit that I had to move to get out of the host I had, but it's done. And so it's not a graceful process as much as you would like to think it is. There are snags, there are problems, things that used to work stop working, and then you got to sit there and figure out what broke and why and how to rewire it. Just like when you move, things get dropped, things get scratched, things don't work the same as they did. You something worked at your old house and now it doesn't work anymore because it got jostled around, or not. I mean, it couldn't even be, it may not even be something that broke, but the new server has a different way of configuring some shit that the old one did, and your website still thinks it works the way it used to, but now you have to fix it to work the new way. And things like that happen. Tons of things, little random things like that. That's why when people pay me to host their website, I'm not a web hosting company. I'm not offering web hosting where I just host websites, but people pay me a monthly fee to maintain their websites and keep them up and running and up to date and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I might go a few months without having to do a single thing, even though they're paying me per month. But I'm the guy who's going to make shit happen. When GoDaddy replaces your website with a bunch of penis pictures, like I was showing you earlier, like my web hosting company did with all their sites on that server, pictures of testicles, then I'm going to pack the fucking shit up and move. And I'm going to get my shit out of there. Client isn't going to be able to do that. Like they, when I do a website for somebody, all the files and everything that you need to get that website up and running at a different company is all packaged and ready to rock. It may not, but it's not like an instantaneous flip a switch and it's done. It's like packing all your shit, putting it in a U-Haul, driving to the other side of town and unloading it, unpacking it, and reorganizing it. There's a process. And but that's what people pay me for, to keep their shit up and running so that it's my headache and not theirs. So this month, all these, the people that pay me a monthly fee, they got their monthly fee worth because I moved all their shit to a much better place. It's faster. There's so many benefits that come with what I did that I'm glad it happened, but I was not glad on Thursday and Friday. Saturday and Sunday, I was starting to enjoy it, even though I lost billable time. I couldn't bill my clients for the time I spent 4 fucking days doing this. So I lost money, but I gained more. And so I'm going to tell you the coolest thing that I gained from this. I don't know if you know that I'm a shit poster on X, and I'm trying to be a professional shit poster. And I started a shit posting database of memes, and it was called Meme Team 6. So I hosted Meme Team 6 on a web platform called Airtable, where it's a database platform where you don't have to write code to maintain the meme database. Well, it was clunky and it was slow and it sucked and other people couldn't work with it. So the one cool thing I figured out about this new web server that I was setting up for myself and my clients is I can build Meme Team 6 to be a banger of a website that will kick the shit out of where it was before. So, Meme Team 6, bang, baby. 6,000. Let's just, oh, hold on. I got to sign in. I'm just going to give you the 6,870 memes. You got all 6,870 memes got moved over to my server, to where I control the database. I control the front end user interface and everything around it. It's got some kinks. I'm the only person using this right now, but you can all go there. Memeteam6.org is live and in full effect. You can all go there right now. Get all your shit posting memes that you need. I'm going to pin it to the chat if I can. This fucking YouTube interface. There you go. Can I pin it? Pin it. YouTube's interface is fucking crap right now, but I think I got it working. It should be pinned. Memeteam6.org. Go there. Go there right now. You can. This thing this kicks the living hell out of the meme database that I had before that I was showing you guys. This thing could replace Giphy if it grows big enough. This thing's badass. I'm using an open source tool called Cheverito. It's an open source PHP LAMP based application that you can install on any server that you want, self host your own images and video. and animated GIFs and all the things that my old database wouldn't do. This thing's freaking, oh, this thing's amazing. You go here, I can go straight up. Let's go down to what I only got a few videos, but you're looking for a good Erica Kirk video to ship post on X. Bam, right here. Come on. Of course, it's gonna. Oh, maybe I got to be logged in. All right, fine. I think you got to be logged in to play the videos. Something else I'm learning. Not now. Should be work. It should work. Well, that's new. Wonder if it's the web browser I'm using. It's got to be the web browser. Well, it might not work in Firefox. This is my first time looking at it in Firefox. Now I'm fucking. Hold on. I got to prove that this works while you're all watching. Yeah, I'm like Steve Jobs when the Mac wouldn't work on his when he's on stage and something about the Mac didn't work. All right, I'll just open this bitch up in Chrome. Here we go. So you need a good Erica Kirk grieving video. Whatever you need. You need a good animated GIF. I don't have that. My old database didn't support this crap. So, they see me rolling, they hating. Um, my old database didn't support animated GIFs or videos, so I don't have that many uploaded here. Now that it does, booyah! We're in it. We're in this game. Meme Team 6. You can download. You don't need to sign up for an account. You don't need to log in. I'm not logged in. Well, I am now. But if I log out, I'll just show you what you see. If you've already gone there, you've already seen. But you hit this explore button, I can go, here's all the Donald Trump memes. Bam. I'm not now, Mom. I'm defending Donald Trump online. You need a good meme. Got you covered, man. Trump Epstein 2026. Gotcha. You need I want you to look at Iran, not Epstein. Bam. This thing is so much faster, so much better than the thing I had before. Ugh. This really like, oh, I shouldn't show that on YouTube. They'll probably get me a check mark, some shit. Yeah, this is not safe for work. I can tag these images to be not safe for the whole fucking website's not safe for work. So I'm not going to use the not safe for work tag. But all the fire memes are going to be up here now. And it took me some work. This was not an easy thing to set up. Even though it was a prepackaged piece of software, I can customize it all day long to be exactly what I want it to be someday. But it's good enough today. It's not perfect. Like we've got tags. We can go to. We've got a tag here. Let's explain. Here's all the different tags. So I was able to remap. I had 1,514 images in the old database that had tags associated with them. So and some of those images had up to 20 tags each. So out of 6,870 memes, 1,514 of them have been tagged. And I didn't want to have to redo all that work. And it was not easy. It was not easy. These are all the different tags. Let's take a look. Chairman Mao, what pops up? Okay. Mao, LMAO. Got memes for every occasion. Go back to the tags list. The tags system in the UI is a little clunky. I don't like it. I can't filter them. I can't search for tags yet, but I can really I can build on top of what's here. It's got a lazy loader that kicks in as you populate the page. I don't like that. I can probably fix that, make it work better. Let's see. I'm not going to hit that one. Let's see. Oh God, what do I want to click? What vegetarians? You want a meme about vegetarians? Boom, got it. You can do things with the URL strings if you know what you're doing. You can hit tag vegetarians if you know what the tags are. You can there. It, I can make this way more powerful than what you already see without a ton of work. It's gonna just be like here's a good meme. All animals want to live. Where do you draw the line? Oh, right about here. Here's all the animals I eat. Pretty much stops when you get to the horse and the dogs. Everything on this side of the line, yeah, chicken, cow, pig, bull, duck, yeah, all good. That's about where I draw the line. Um, I'm so glad that I don't have to actually hunt. I have no clue where gluten free tacos live. And then we've got oh, vegans saw this and decided to eat some gross plant they just found growing in the dirt. So meme team 6 is in effect and live, and I went from 0 to 100 on that in one day. I built that thing. I was like, you know what, I kind of found that open source image program, and they had a demo on their site, and it was okay. I'm like, yeah, I could, yeah, maybe, but the demo wasn't good enough for me to really see it. So I'm like, how hard could it be to install this on my own server, get it up and running, and then play with it for a minute and see if I'd like it? And getting it up and running was a bitch. It was not as easy as I wanted it to be, for various reasons. It was a lot of work, but I did all of this in one day. I had to set up the server and get the server part running, just the space where it's going to go. Then I had to unpack the software and install that. And like I said, there was a lot of bugs, a lot of different issues. It was it was not straightforward like they want you to believe, but if you're techie and you know what you're doing, you can do it. It's not for beginners. Definitely not for beginners. But if you I mean, I was a software engineer, front end engineer for 6 years. I know a few things, even though that's not what I do for a living anymore. The fact that I can write code and understand some of this shit and worked on software, I can I can fake it till you make it, I guess they say. Um, the biggest problem that you find is when you have a problem, it's usually a really easy fix. It's usually like one line of code or one little thing, but you'll spend 3 hours trying to find what that line of code is and what that one little thing is that broke it. And that's kind of what I had to go through yesterday. Um, then I had to pull down my entire meme collection, the images from this Airtable platform, and they hold your files hostage. They don't give you a button in their tool to say, download all my stuff. So I had to find a hacky script and have AI help me write a Python script that went to the old database and downloaded all of the images, all 6,780 images to my MacBook in a folder, name them a certain way, and do all this other stuff. And so now I've got the images, boom, done. Then I had to write another script that went through my entire meme database, 6,780 images, with 1,514 of them had tags, up to 20 tags per image, like you just saw. Here's the Donald Trump tag, boom. And you saw the list of tags show up on your screen. So an image could have 20 tags. One tag could bring up 50 to 100 images. Um, there's a lot of images that pop up on the Trump tag. Not so many on Obama and Clinton, but that they're old. They're deprecated. They are they're stale memes at this point. If Bill Clinton becomes hot because he goes to prison for Epstein Island or some shit. Yeah, there's an embed link, JS. Here, I'll show you. Let's go back to screen share. You can right click. So the first thing you can do, right click on an image, you can copy the image. You can hit this download button here, you can download it. And then there's a share button here. That share button, come on, bitch. Something's not right with Firefox. Probably going to tell you not to use Firefox for now because something's not, unless you have to be signed in. Maybe it's either a validation issue or it is this browser signed in. Let me go here. Pick a random image. So here is the link to the image. Here's all your different social media. X. Oh, I'm not signed into X on this. I have so many different web browsers I use. So, but yeah, you could email it to somebody. Of course, I don't use an email app, so that's not going to work. Um, I thought there was an embed code. I thought I saw, but here's the link to the image itself. Now, I don't know if that allows you to embed. I don't know if you can. I think that's just a direct link to find it here. I'll know. I just did this yesterday, so my bad. But I'm like thrilled about how this turned out because I know where it can go. I, like let's just see here. You're if you're offended, I have some thicker skin in the basement. um, the download button here is what you want. Then you can do whatever you want with it. Or you can right click on it. You can go copy image, open image in new tab. That'll take you directly to the image file. The right click menu, that was disabled by default because this is kind of like a photography website, but I had the ability in the admin to enable you to right click. So save image as, open image in a new tab. That'll let you download the image. Copy image will copy it to your clipboard, and then you can just paste it. That's what I do. If I'm going to X, I'm just like copy, boom, paste in a post. That's the easiest way to drop it in a post on social media is just right click, copy, paste in wherever you're trying to put it. But I'll play around with these direct embed links and see what they do. But I have to be logged into the platforms, and I'd have to switch browsers again, and I don't want to crash my machine while we're live because I've got so much crap open. Um, Normally it wouldn't matter. So, but anyway, so yeah, so I had to do this whole thing to write another script to go to my Airtable database, pull down all 6,870 memes with their IDs that Airtable gave them, the file names, what the file name would be when it got imported into this app, and all of the keywords for every image that had keywords or tags associated with them, and then write a Python script that remapped all of the keywords and tags to the images in Meme Team 6 so that every image that had tags in the old database now has tags in the new database. So if you go Trump Epstein here, the tags for this image are Trump, Epstein, pedophile, child rape. I don't even know. YouTube will probably whack me for just saying that, but this is not safe for work. You want Epstein memes? Boom, click the Epstein tag. Got a lot of Jeffrey Epstein memes. We got, friends. Dan, dan, dan. We've got, oh, damn, that's crazy. Where are the Epstein files? Um, we got, um, we got Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump at the Coldplay concert. That one's probably a little stale now. We got Mount Ratemore, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, Donald Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein. We got there isn't two parties, they're Epstein's clients. Some of the memes are I'm just downloading the memes as is. I'm not trying to make professional crafted graphic designed memes. I'm just downloading them as I get them. Like I'm not putting, I'm not I might put up like a premium memes collection where I use my graphic design skills to put together high end, typographically sound, high resolution, well designed memes that aren't cropped bad, that are really, really high quality memes. Your antivirus has failed. You have been infected by Russian girls. There you go. Um, there might be some duplicates. I think that Friends one came up twice. It's not perfect. This isn't perfect. It's not my how does one person handle 6,870 memes by himself? So, but with this, you see that there's a sign in link here, and I'm doing it as an invite only thing because with great power comes great responsibility. So I'm only, if you want to join Meme Team 6 and help curate the memes, add keywords to them, upload memes that you think are hot fire memes that should be shared with the world, and have your own place to put your own memes. So it's not just me uploading them and me tagging them and everything. I could probably get like 5 to 10 people in on this, and we could all work together to build this thing out. And especially on the video side, as soon as now that I can do videos, oh my god, oh I can't play them in Firefox. I don't know why. Their tech support's actually responsive. The people that built this app, I asked them a question yesterday, and they responded to me today. I could ask, why don't videos play in Firefox? That could be my next question. Maybe it's something on my, maybe it's Firefox blocking something that I need to it could be that ad blocker or something with Firefox blocking them from playing. I don't know. Um, Here's the official Jeffrey Epstein pedophile arrest counter. All the memes. And like I said, I've got so many memes. This app allows me to bulk. I uploaded 6,000. I uploaded 10 to test it out, and then I uploaded the rest of the 6,780 memes all at once through a terminal window directly from my hard drive up to the server, and just it took like an hour for it to finish uploading. But it, there are ways for me to take this platform can handle millions of images without breaking. That's the beauty of this thing. I may have to find a better place to store the images after it, if I get that many. But, 6,870 is not a bad start. I probably have 3,000 more waiting to upload because I haven't been uploading images to the meme database for a while because I've been busy. And the old meme database was starting to have such poor performance that I just abandoned it, and I just said I was still using it, but I wasn't keeping it updated. Because it's something I can do. Like if I'm taking a digital smoke break during the day, I'm working on something, and I just want to go do something fun for a minute. I'll bang out some keywords on some memes or upload a batch of memes and see what's up, and just whatever. But um, this thing, I want it to be like I'm an equal opportunity hater. I hate everybody. I hate the Democrats. I hate the Republicans. Let them go. Let them go. Let it all go up. All the memes. But I can't just let anybody jump in onto the meme database and upload whatever the hell they want, because now I'm going to be dealing with child porn and all kinds of crazy shit that people are going to try and upload to it, spam and all kinds of garbage. So I can't just let anybody sign up. But all the memes that are there for the taking. They're for you. For the people, as Bane would put it. um, so I had to get everything out of Airtable, bulk upload all the images, go through this database mapping project, which that took a minute, but I got all 1,514 images that had keywords all put in exactly the way they were. And it took maybe an hour from the time I started trying to figure it out to when it actually was done. There were some glitches and some bugs, and I had to clean out the database a little bit, but it was good to go. Mookie Bubble Guts Johnson, is this like one of these people that makes up? Are you still in H Town? Sure. Are you one of the? Are you one? Hope you're not one of these guys that made 20 YouTube accounts to troll the same channel. Um. Anyway. Um. Yeah. So I had to do some cleanup of the database, tidy it up a little bit. There were some, from experimenting and messing around and playing around and trying to get things up and running. There was a little bit of slop that had to be cleaned up. I work at a bakery, there might be flour and dough all over the floor when I'm done, and I got to sweep it up and sterilize the tables. That's kind of what I had to do. Once I had everything working, then I had to change the domain name, Meme Team 6, to point to the new server. And that broke a bunch of stuff. Just changing the domain name of a website like this will break all kinds of crap inside the website. And so you have to do all this maintenance and bullshit to get the website working again after you change the domain name. Because you get a temporary domain name when you build something like this, or an IP address. And that's what you use while you're building it to look at it and test it, make sure it works. Then you switch your www.whateverthehell.com domain name to it. You push that button and you switch it, things break. That's every time. I've never switched a domain name on a website, gone back to the website and be like, oh, it magically works. No, it's like a half hour of banging my fist on the desk trying to figure out, how do I fix this? How do I fix that? Why did this break? Why did that break? So it's never smooth. That's why people do this kind of crap in the middle of the night on websites that get tons and tons of traffic. That's why you got IT working in the middle of the night, because things break when you do stuff like this. And you don't do it at noon on Friday, or noon on Tuesday when a million people at once are trying to log in. You do it at 3 in the morning on Saturday night, Sunday morning at 3 a.m. when nobody's paying any attention and the site can go down. um I don't need to do it like 3 in the morning on Sunday morning. I'm not getting that level of traffic, but I gotta kind of, if it's a client site, I gotta be careful about when I push buttons like that could break things. Um, then, so after I got everything working, I added a little bit of branding to the thing. So you'll see you got the homepage. This website app is called Cheverito. That's the name of the software that this runs on. But I can customize everything. And so you've got your own branding here. And so basically I can hide the fact that this is using open source software to run, and just kind of make it Meme Team 6 all the way through. And I can do some really cool stuff. I just did the bare minimum so that when you go there, oh, it's Meme Team 6, baby. It's time to rock. Mission accomplished. You know what I'm saying? Like George Bush. George Bush put up. Donald Trump keeps telling you mission accomplished with Iran, and then we're back to war the next day. I mean, he won the Iran war like 26 times now, and now we're back to not. Now he's back to wanting to bomb them again. So I don't know. Like mission accomplished. So if Donald Trump can do that with a war, I can do that with a website and just be like, look, it's good enough. It's live. Fuck it, we'll go live. Um, so anyway, Meme Team 6 is invite only. Yeah, I'm in Houston. Mookie Bubble Guts Johnson. I live in Houston. Um, right now, Meme Team 6 is invite only. Like I said, with great power comes great responsibility. If you want to get an invite, I know a couple of you had invites to the old Meme Team 6 database. I deleted that. I logged into Airtable today, completely deleted the database, completely deleted all the accounts, my accounts. I mean, you might still have an account on Airtable, but if you log into it, you won't see the Meme Team 6 database anymore. But this platform is so much better. Fuck, man. You don't even have to log in. Everything's right there at your fingertips, and it's just going to get better. And I'll demo. Anytime I make a good upgrade to it, I'll show you guys and let you know what's going on. The source for memes, all the fire memes that you want are right at your fingertips. That's my goal with this project. And I got the hard stuff done. Now it's just fun for me. I'm not going to work on it every day. After taking 4 days to move websites from point A to B, banging my fist on the desk, being pissed off about it, not wanting to do it, losing money and this, that, and the other thing. I had to take a day off and just be like, I'm going to have fun today. That was like a vacation day for me. Instead of working and getting paid, I was like, fuck it. I'm on vacation today. I'm going to build a website for shit posting memes. And oh yeah, Carlos, you had downloaded Airtable. So yeah, that's done. We're done. Me, this is so much better. There's some, but like I said, there's things that need improvement. So I'm just gonna run it by myself until I work out the kinks and make some of the improvements. I'm gonna put all the special collections back in, but I have to do that manually. There's no way to search for tags in the search field. That's a limitation, but I have a way around it that I have to write a script that takes all the tags for an image and drops them into the description field and replaces whatever. So the description fields will only have tags, comma separated, but they'll automatically be added with a daily script that runs at the end of the day. So if I add a bunch of tags to an image at the end of the day or whenever I run the command, it will just go through the whole database and just and it'll add all the tags for every image to the description of the image, which is searchable in the search field. So it'll make the memes more discoverable. And I'm going to work on the tag list view page. There's some things that I think I can do to this app with the knowledge that I have that I could actually give the code back to the people that made the software. Like it's open source, so anybody can contribute. It's on GitHub. You know, they all their source code is on GitHub. I could put in a pull request if I write some really badass code and have my code go into a release of this app and then I can use that on my resume. Hey, I wrote code for an open source app that does this, that, and the other thing. PHP and whatever else. So but it would have to be clean and done a certain way and I might just do it hack and slash job, a sloppy ass hack and slash job, like Jason Voorhees with an axe just to make it work. But anyway, yeah, spelling bee was rigged. I like that one. Um, the titles of all the images are just the scrambled up file. When I download memes from X or wherever I get them from, I don't change the file names. And so when I upload the image to the platform, the title of the image is the file name. And so that's why the titles of all the images suck. And do I really want to sit there and add nice titles to 7,000 images? No. Will I? I can do it a little bit at a time, but if I have like a handful of people jumping in who want to use this and curate your own collection of memes and share them with the world, and you want to do that work and add keywords and titles and shit like that, and you got a few minutes here and there to do it, 10, 15 people on the case we could make a banger of a meme database way better than I could do by myself. And there are levels of access that I can give people to sign into this to do that work that will you won't be able to go and break the website, but you'll have enough authority to edit the keywords, but you'd also be able to delete the images. You could wipe out the entire meme database and then I'd have to go and restore a backup and get pissed at you. But with great power comes great responsibility. So um as a fun project, I wanted to do this for months. Months I wanted to do something like this, but the server that I had wouldn't do it. I could have never run this on the server that I had before. Now the new server that I have with all the websites I have installed, I'm going to put my photography store back online. I had if go watch NBC News, you'll see my old photography website because the FBI was using it. They were showing my website on the national news, my photography store, um, when I got arrested. and so I mean, I still have that website, all the files in the database, but it's from 2022. And so there's a lot of things that are out of date. And so I came up with a plan today using AI to kind of help me sort it out of how to relaunch the website under a different domain name with a different logo and branding and stuff. But I can relaunch my photography website now and get it up and running probably within a day or two. And then you can buy photographic prints right from my website at litgood.com. I'll be able to replace what's up there right now with a much better website. And all these different websites plus Meme Team 6 all running on the same server. I'm not even at like 30% of the capacity of what this server can do. Like I'm checking the logs, I'm checking the graphs, I'm checking the usage and the spikes and the RAM and all that. I'm not even close. Not even close. And if I do get to the point where I need to make the server more powerful, it's like a two clicks of the mouse and boom, I double the amount of RAM, I double the amount of disk space, I make the website more robust, scalable, boom, done. And it's the change happens in about the end user doesn't see anything when it changes, but the actual change to where the server blows up and becomes twice as powerful is probably about 30 seconds to a minute after I hit the button. That's the power of cloud computing and cloud virtual servers. You can take a small server and just go boop, make it big. I can take and split it in half. If one website on the server goes viral, like Meme Team 6, it blows up. Millions of people want to get memes from the best source of memes on the internet, memeteam6.org. If they want to go there and it blows up and makes my server sluggish, boom, I can take Meme Team 6, put it on a brand new virtual server, get it away from the other websites, let it be its own thing and go boom and make that server big. And it all happens in like a blink of an eye. Moving it to a new server might be like an hour of work, but just blowing up the existing server to go big, that's like a push of a button. That's almost instantaneous. It just dedicates more RAM, more hard drive space, more resources. It basically just makes the thing take up more space and power at the push of a button. And I can scale it up, I can scale it down, I can do, I'm gonna to get my old website up and running, my old photography website, I have to start up a micro server, the bare bones, like bare minimum server they allow you to spin up because it's so out of date, it won't run on my current server. So I'll have to set it up on a mini server, get it up and running, turn it live, make the domain name point to it, and it'll work. It'll work just as good as it ever did. But then I have to make a clone of it on my new server. And then I've got to go to the process of updating everything, making it compatible with the newest technology, making sure all the plugins are up to date, all the scripts, all the code is up to modern standards because it's 4 years old. And once it's ready to go, I literally push a button, do a couple of things. It's probably 15 minutes to an hour of work. to switch it to the new one. Boom, it's done. And then I just delete the server where it was and it's gone and I don't have to pay for the new server anymore. Or the old, yeah, and it's all running on one server again. So that level of being able to just boop, 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 and just make them building blocks at the blink of an eye. That is the power. That is the beautiful thing about the platform I'm on right now. And that is why I'm so glad I found this company. Um, that part of it is so damn easy. Spinning up, like if I decide I want to build, if I bought a domain name and I wanted to build a simple website that was like 3 HTML pages and some images and there's no database or nothing, I could buy a domain name, build the server, put a few HTML pages up and some images. I could probably build a website in 15 fucking minutes if I let AI write the source code. Or if I wrote it myself and it was just a basic bitch website, no more than half an hour to build it to. And I'm not talking like that's not a site that I would build for a client, but that's literally like 3 pages, a few links and some images and nothing else. Um, but I can do it so fast with this. I don't have to set up a new web hosting account. I don't have to do all this crap. I literally just hit one button that says add new site. Bang. Give it a name. Boom. Done. It's instantly available and I can instantly put files into it and it's instantly working the second I hit the button to create it. Um and so that I'm just like my mind is just like I went from being like burned out and tired to being excited about my job again because this is like got my creative juices going. Meme Team 6 was like a fun project, but I learned a ton of shit by putting this together yesterday. It was a vacation day, but it was like going to school because I knew I was not going to have an easy time putting this damn thing together. But I decided it was like 11 a.m. and I'm like, you know what? Today's the day. Let's do it. And I'm like, and it was about 11 o'clock last night when I quit, but it was done. Um, me at Burger King on my 6th birthday while my friends sing happy birthday. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is freaking great. I'm so happy about how this project is turning out. And I can tell just from using it now, I'm tinkering around and playing with it. It's stable. It's not some garbage open source software that's going to fall apart. It's tested, it's proven, it's used in a lot of places. It's got a lot of street cred. It's free. They have a paid version uh, that would give me some more stuff if I wanted to pay them like $20 a month or a yearly fee of $100 a year um, to give me more levels of more powerful. But I can also write my own code to do the things that I would pay them for and custom. I could like rip the whole thing apart and recode it all myself to be exactly what I want it to be because it's open source. It's all of the code is open and available to you. But a lot of open source, you got to be careful. Sometimes open source is open junk. But this one's good. And I've seen it with my own eyes and just I mean it was a I'm still a little bit nervous because if I do have a problem, they're hard to fix. But I think it's stable enough now that it would be hard to break. Um, but time, we're talking about time, and it's been 4 years. I was just saying, I think it was just time. Like God, I'm gonna switch gears now, and we're gonna get into the. It's like we're going to church, baby. I don't know if Blue Sky's in the house. If not, she'll see the replay. It's been 4 years since the FBI drove that tank into my house back on August 12th, 2022. And it's been 870 days since I got out of prison. I got 226 days of probation left, so I'm less than 8 months done. But that's going by fast and slow. I just want it to be I'm at the point I just want to be done. It's really it's not helping me get back. It's not helping me put my life back together. It's hampering me in ways. But I'm not saying that it's not ridiculous either, the amount of hoops that they make me jump through. So I just got to, get through it. Um, I've been in Texas for 708 days as of today. I was in prison for 600 days. So I've been in Texas longer than I was in prison now. That kind of blows my mind. 108 days more than it was exactly 600 days between the arrest and my release. 600 days of fucking hell. Um, I've been living in this house for 446 days. And I've owned a vehicle for almost a year, 332 days now. And like that, when I look at it, so I've got 8 months left of probation, and that seems like a really long time. But when I look at, I feel like I just bought a car last week. you know, like that, the time perception of time is so warped in certain scenarios. When I go to work at the bakery, an hour goes by and it feels like I've been there for six. I'll be like, I'll get there at 9, I'll punch the clock at 9 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, I'm like, it's got to be at least 3 now, huh? Now look, it'll be 10. Fuck. But then yesterday, working on Meme Team 6, I started working at 11 a.m. and I looked up and it was 5 p.m. and I hadn't even taken a break yet. And I'm sitting in this chair. I never even ate food. I never did anything. I was just hacking away, having a good time serving my country on Meme Team 6 by serving the best memes, classified information, unredacted memes that your tax money can buy for free. Um, and so time, the perception of time is completely different from one day to the next. And but last weekend I had a neat. So we're talking about Jesus now. So you're either gonna want to get out of here or you're gonna want to stick around. Just warning you. Here we go. um, last Blue Sky and other people have been asking me if I found a church down here yet, and the answer was no. I've been to one, two, three, four different churches since I moved to Houston, and none of them really like did it for me. The first one was like meh, kind of like a upscale, not a mega church, but I mean they had a fucking laser light show, you know what I mean, and fucking cameras on dollies, like TV production studio cameras on dollies, and fucking laser show on the ceiling, and fuck man, like I mean, they didn't have like acrobats coming down on ropes from the ceiling and shit, dancing about Jesus and whatnot. But it was just, I was like, fuck no, not this. Um, wasn't Joel Osteen's 45,000 seat mega church, but it was like, it was a big old fucking Texas suburban fucking multi-million dollar extravaganza. And I was just like, this ain't me. The next place I went was this tiny little church in a shopping center. And I'm like, well, that might be my speed. I thought, okay, let's check that out. Well, I'm like, on my way to church the first day, I even put a video up on it for you guys a while back when I went. Directly across the street from the church, there was a dumpster fire, a literal dumpster fire. A dumpster was on fire, and there was a fire truck there, and there were firefighters putting out a dumpster fire. And I looked up in the sky and I said, Jesus, is that a sign? And it sure the fuck was. It sure as hell was. Oh my God, it was this fucking preacher begging for money for 2 fucking hours about how if you don't give me money, you're going to hell. And it was fucking wild. And then when I left the place, There's this bright red Corvette convertible, brand spanking new, top of the line Corvette, parked in the handicap space right in front of the front door of the church. And I'm like, yeah, you can get the fuck out of here, dog. I'm never going back to that church. And that church went out of business. That church, that's an empty shopping plaza now with no church in it. I saw that a while back. I was like, oh, I wonder where he went. Probably having a hard time making his Corvette payments now. Huh? Huh? Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Hard to make them Corvette payments. Hard to make them Corvette payments when the donation buckets go dry. Hallelujah. Oh my God, it was bad. It was so bad. The next church I went to was a Lutheran church right next door, and it was all right. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was a little stuffy. You know, Mormon or not Mormons, the Lutheran church is kind of like they're kind of like the Catholic Church, but cooler. Because Martin Luther is the one who started the Lutheran Church. That's hence the name. So it's kind of like it's not just like the Catholic Church, but so this Lutheran church that I went to, they had a Lutheran service, and then like an hour later, they had like a cool service, more hip, modern church service. And that's the one I went to. And I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I mean, it ain't though. It was just kind of like it was a nice community church. I didn't have anything bad to say about it, but it didn't feel like my home. I think I went there twice. I think I went there 2 weeks in a row. But I could walk there. And then things started to go crazy with the slumlord and all that wacky stuff. So I just wasn't going anymore. And then when I moved into this place right here, there's a church like 2 doors down from me, small little church. But when I looked on their website, I was like, didn't really feel like I would fit in, if you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying. Hallelujah. I just wouldn't fit in. Everybody be looking at me like, who's the white guy? Who's this cracker coming to church? So I'm like, nah, there's another church at the end of my street. It's a half mile. I could walk there. I walked there once. But it's kind of like it's not like the big church I went to, the suburban modern church with the laser light show and the TV production bullshit and all that. But it was like a smaller version of that. Corporate, white people, suburban church, lots of Mercedes and BMWs in the parking lot, multi-million dollar building. But the sanctuary's not huge. And they have like 3 or 4 services on Sunday, and then they do church on Wednesdays too. So I went there once after I moved in here. I walked over there on a Sunday, and I just was like, meh. It was kind of like the Lutheran church. It wasn't bad. I didn't have any bad negative things to say about it. It just didn't feel like home to me. It just felt kind of eh. Like I went to a few different churches in Jamestown. One of them was kind of like meh, but it was okay. And I went there. But when I was living with my psychotic ex, there were 2 churches. And the first church I could go to, that was the one that was like the suburban kind of church, the white people church. And then there was another church on my way back walking. And the way that they were timed, I could go to church here and then I could go to the second church right after and just pick and do it again. And it got me out of the house, and it was a good thing. Like I could disappear like at 8 in the morning and not come back till like 2 in the afternoon and have a good time and meet people and be away from that fucking mess and just be happy for one day of the fucking week. And so I did that. Yeah, I swear. I go to church and I swear. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. Um, anyway, so I would go to two churches. The second church felt better than the first church. It was a really, really, really small, tight knit group of people, probably like 10 people going to church. So that was the kind of church you walk in and you're not going to be able to sit in the back and be anonymous and just chill, you know? And then I went to another church in Jamestown, New York, where it was another small one. You couldn't just walk in and take a seat, lay low, get the feel of the place. Like everybody wanted it, but that place felt like home. Like that place felt really awesome. And I met a lot of cool people. Everybody there was like super friendly, super social. Like it was a really awesome place to be. And I was so glad that I went there. And I went there every week. Once I found that church, I went there every week until I moved to Houston. And so I was going to church regularly. Well, after I came to Houston, I just didn't find one. And so I didn't realize how long it's been since I've been to church, but it's been about a year. And I was, so Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, I haven't talked to you guys since. 2 Sundays ago, I left the house on Sunday morning wearing a Star Wars t shirt, a beat up Star Wars t shirt, a pair of jeans, and a pair of Crocs because I had to go over to the grocery store and get some coffee because my cold brew ran out and it was going to be a long day of me sitting in front of the computer working billable time. So that was good. But I had to go to the grocery store and get some coffee. And so I'm not even thinking about anything except coffee. Maybe picking up a couple of groceries and maybe some easy food. Something easy to make. Pop it in the air fryer and eat, or just eat it out of a plastic tub or whatever in the prepared foods or whatever. Curry chicken salad or something dope. So I'm like, mind is on coffee and groceries. I pull out of my driveway, get about quarter mile down the road, and I'm like, it's Sunday. And I'm like, I should probably try and find a church to go to. That would be kind of cool to maybe I should go to church again. And but that would be fun. I've been kind of thinking about this, and I pray a lot when I drive. I keep the radio turned off most of the time, and I just sit there and have my moment with Jesus while I drive. I talk to him. That's most honestly, that's one of the places I pray the most is when I'm driving. And so that's kind of where it started. I was like, Lord, thank you for this, thank you for that, blah blah blah. I really, I should start going to church again, and da 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 da. I get to the end of my street and I make the right hand turn. And they have like, of course, they've got the fucking Jumbotron in front of the white people suburban church, right? They got, this multi-million-dollar building, and a fucking Jumbotron with graphics and shit on it. And so, but I look up and on the church Jumbotron on the side of the road, it says service at 11:30. And I look at my watch and it's 11:25. And I'm like, Jesus, weren't we just talking about a quarter mile ago how I should start going to church again? Are you trying to tell me something here? I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let's do it. I'm pulling. Yeah, I said, fuck it. I said, fuck it out loud. I turned into the parking lot. 11:25. I'm like, if I can find a good place to park, I'm down. Let's see what the good Lord has to tell me today. And I found a parking spot. I walked in. Of course, they've got all these big screens outside the sanctuary with a countdown timer telling you how long you got to get your ass into the seats before worship begins. It's white people suburban church. And probably a lot of rich people in this church because, you look at the cars in the parking lot, you know what it is. And some there's a lot of rich people in the neighborhood where I live. It's a weird place. But so I get my seat, sit in the very back, lay low, and I'm like, all right, I'm here. What you got for me, Jesus? And so first thing, so I went to church. But I went to church and I'm like, I didn't like this place the last time I came here. So I was already predisposed to just be like, I felt like I'm supposed to do this. It just felt right. So I'm like, let's do it. Star Wars t-shirt, ripped up jeans, flip or Crocs, sitting in the back row, hoping nobody talks to me. Just like, like that. And so the song and dance, they all, church always starts out with singing and dancing, with songs. And I'm not like a big, I don't, it's like the warm up. It's like when you go to a concert, you don't want to miss the opening act. You know what I mean? Like, even though you go there to see the headliner, but you don't want to be late for the opener. That's like how I look at the song and dance, the music part of church. I'm just like, well, I don't like to be late, but you got to stand the whole time, or you look like an asshole. You look like one of those people that won't stand for the Star Spangled Banner at the sports game, and everybody's giving you the stink eye, and everybody in their red MAGA hats are yelling and screaming at you because you won't stand. Um, that's what it's like at church if you don't stand for the music. And I'm like, I just want to chill. I'm there for the sermon. I'm not there for the vegetables. I'm there for the meat and the potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Um, so, but I can tell you, even though I don't like the song and dance, when I'm at a church that's the right church, the song part, the music part has an effect on me. And I would say like two songs into the set, I was like, "Yup, I'm feeling it." Like, and I did not every church I ever went to here in Houston, I didn't get that. But I got that this wave of like I don't even know how to explain it. Like this wave of like Jesus juice coming through you, Holy Ghost power, right? The Holy Ghost coming into you. I'm feeling it right now as I talk about it, like feeling it. There's no other way. I can't explain like what it is. You either know or you don't. If you believe in God and you've experienced that, the first time I asked God if he was real and was willing to be open minded enough that he might be real, I had the same wave of this, probably like the same kind of wave you'd get for shooting up heroin or something like that, except it's Holy Ghost power and it's not a pill, powder, or a potion. It's coming from above. And I felt that when I was at church Saturday or Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. And I'm like, huh. And I took note of that. And I was like, I know what this is. And I haven't felt this in a while. So I'm like, I'm like, Jesus, you might be onto something here. Dragging me in here today in my ripped up Star Wars t-shirt and my Crocs. You might be onto something. And I was like, thank you for bringing me here. Well, I don't know if you remember the last live stream that I did the Wednesday before that Sunday, but I got into a pretty long description about forgiveness. And I got into a very detailed description about how I don't forgive people easily. And I could bring up the notes. Uh, do I want to bring up the notes? I don't, no, because we're 2.5 hours in. I just remember talking to you guys very specifically about forgiveness and about certain Bible verses and about certain things. And when the song and dance routine was over at church and the pastor gets up to give his sermon, he starts out with this sermon was, he basically starts right off the rip. He's like, today's sermon, I mean, I'm paraphrasing because he had a lot more personality, but it's like, today's sermon's all about forgiveness and about how you've got to forgive. And I'm not kidding you. He verbatim, word for word, repeated exactly what I said to you guys on Wednesday. That's why I kind of want to look it up, because I can't remember the exact. I took some notes and I meant to go look this up, and I wanted to like look up exactly what I said that Wednesday and match it up with what he said in the sermon, word for word, word for word. And it was the whole sermon about forgiveness. And like JS, like you said, your pastor once said that it's easy to forgive until you have to forgive. Boom, nailed it. He talked about the unforgiving servant, which is, for me, the story of the unforgiving servant is like a big one for me, because I don't know if you're not unfamiliar with the unforgiving servant. Do I want to read the whole Bible verse? I'm going to give you the cliff notes on the unforgiving servant. There's a master, a king, a leader. He had a servant who owed him like $10 million, and the servant made minimum wage. So the servant's never going to be able to pay the debt. Back then, you could go to prison for not paying your debt. So the master was going to throw the servant into prison for the debt that he owed. And the servant begged and begged and begged the master, please forgive me. I'll do whatever I can. I'll make payments. You put me on the payment plan. I'll give you $50 a week, whatever. He begged and begged and begged and begged and cried and said, I'm going to lose my family. They're going to be homeless and this, that. There's going to be nobody to support my wife and kids and blah, 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 blah. And the master goes, all right, you know what? Forget it. I forgive you. I'm going to wipe the debt clean. You're good. I'm just going to pretend it never happened. We're going to start fresh, clean slate. Go enjoy your life. And so the guy who just got forgiven, within like a day, he goes after one of his friends who owed him like $100. And he shook the dude down. And he threatened him, and he got mad. He's like, if you don't give me that $100 you owe me, you motherfucker, I'm going to throw you in prison. And he tried to throw the guy who owed him $100 into prison. After the master just forgave a $10 million debt that the dude would never be able to repay, ever, he's shaking a dude down tomorrow for $100. And he calls the authorities and he drags the dude in front of the leader and he says, this guy owes me $100. Put him in jail. Fuck him. Fuck his kids. Fuck his wife. I don't care. He owes me $100. Well, the master who just forgave the $10 million debt hears about this. And he's like, get the fuck out of here, dog. I just forgave your $10 million debt. And you're going to go shake someone down for $100 and not even pay it forward. Well, fuck you, motherfucker. He grabbed the dude and threw him in prison to rot. And that is the story of, like, that's basically what God expects us to do, right? Because God has forgiven me and you and anybody. All you got to do is ask him to forgive you. He'll forgive you for raping a kid. I mean, I was in jail and prison with some fucked up people that did some horrible shit, and the ones that asked for it are forgiven. I did some horrible shit. I posted some really nasty shit on social media and ruined my life, ruined my kids' lives, fucked up all kinds of people around me, totally destroyed my life, caused all kinds of problems. Yeah, it was shit talking, and I didn't, we all know what it was, but it doesn't, that was a pretty horrible thing to do. And I'm forgiven for that. I'm forgiven for all the dumb things I've done, all the bad things I've done in my life. And that, if I want to make a list, shit, You're going to be here a while. We've already been here 2.5 hours. You got another 6 hours. I can tell you all the bad things I've done, and I'm forgiven for it. But then somebody turns around and spite and does something bad to me, and I'm like, "Fuck you, motherfucker! I can't forgive you." And it might not be the people that you think when I say that. I can have a hard time forgiving a lot of people for different things, old friends, significant others, employers. I still haven't forgiven the bitch, the fucking cunt sister of the CEO of Amazon who fired me for going to the hospital the day my son was born because I went to the hospital for him to be born instead of work. Like, I don't like dwell on it. I'm not walking around going, fuck that fucking cunt, like on a daily basis. No, but I still have bitterness in my heart about things like that go back years. Um, some things I've dropped, and there's others that stick. And it's like, as part of the dude's sermon as part of his sermon, he said, carrying around all that bitterness and hatred towards somebody because they won't apologize to you or because they did you wrong. It's like drinking poison every day, hoping that the person that you hate gets sick. They don't give a fuck about you. They're not thinking about you. They don't give a shit about you. The girl that threw me out into the street to be homeless she don't give a fuck about me. Why the fuck should I, if I'm just going to be mad about that day after day after day? I'm drinking poison hoping that she drops dead. You know what I mean? Like, that's not helping me. And I don't dwell on this every day. I got a life to live. I spent a whole day of my life yesterday building a fucking meme database for the world to partake in sharing memes and shit posting all over the world. Um Out of the kindness of my heart. And I'm not dwelling on the past. I got shit to do. So, but there are times where I'm like, yeah, fuck that motherfucker, fuck that bitch, fuck that asshole, fuck those motherfuckers that did da, da, da. And I do that. And but the whole sermon, was about forgiveness. And forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean that you accept that whatever he or she did to you, or they or whoever did to you, is okay. No. If somebody did you wrong, they did you wrong, and you don't need to believe that they did you right, but you can let go of it. It's more like you need to let go of, it's like you're carrying a weight. It's like I'm carrying 30 pounds around in my belly that I got to go to the gym and get rid of because I'm just carrying it around and making my life worse. I gotta go, stop eating the damn cookies from the bakery I go to. But we had some bangers this week. I took a whole box home. So, whatever it is, what it is. Um, the menu's been crap lately. And this week they had some bangers, and I'm like, oh, employee discount. Here we go. I took all the free ones I could get and an employee discount box, half off. So you can't beat that. I have breakfast every day for the week. No, breakfast of champions, 1,000 calorie cookie to start the day. Um, it's like half of my daily allowance, one shot. um, but anyway, you're carrying all this baggage around, and you're not hurting. You're not hurting anybody. You're not hurting the people that did you wrong. You're only hurting yourself. And oh, so there was a I'm confused. I got notes here, but I went to church again last Sunday. I'm like, I'm telling you, that sermon that he gave, there were like probably 100. There was at least 100 people in that room. I don't know. I don't have I don't know how to estimate. I wasn't paying that much attention, but at least 100 people in there easily. Hey, a couple hundred. I don't know. It's big, but not huge. I felt like he wrote that whole sermon specifically for me. And Jesus told me, we're not going to the grocery store just yet, dog. Here, pull into this place for a minute. I got something for you. I felt like the whole freaking sermon was written for me. I mean, bang, 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 bang. It was like I was telling you, my whole last live stream was about how my life feels stuck and I can't figure out how to get unstuck. And that sermon on Sunday, it was like God was like telling me word for word, here's why you're stuck. Here's why you can't get unstuck. I'm waiting for you to do this, this, and this. And when you do it, you'll start to get unstuck. And it felt I could have taken better notes. All I'm saying is I went to church and it was like God wrote the sermon for me to hear. Everybody else there got something from it, but that sermon felt like it was for me specifically. Like, oh my God, there were so many things. There were things that the pastor said on Sunday, and I went to the bakery on Monday, and somebody I work with said the exact same thing that the pastor said without me prompting it to be said. That's how you know the synchronicities when things like that happen. That's how you know God is talking to you and it's not just some coincidence. I said something to you guys on Wednesday, went to church unbeknownst to me until I pulled in the driveway because I felt like I was supposed to go all of a sudden when I was on my way to get coffee. Pastor says the exact same thing back to me that I just said to you guys 3 days earlier. And then the next day I go to the bakery and somebody at the bakery says the exact same thing to me that the pastor said yesterday. Word for word. And I'm like, message received. Message received. You don't get the message like that 3 times in a row. That specific, that was not just some random coincidence from the invisible fairy in the sky. That's not how it goes. When God wants to talk, God doesn't show up in a cloud like he did in the Bible with Moses and be like, Moses, boom, with a big lightning bolt and all that bullshit. No, but he does talk to me. This is how it happens. It's not, if he showed up in a cloud and yelled at me from the sky, I think I would, first of all, I'd think it was like the government pulling some bullshit like HARP or some sort of fucking weird ass drone show or so who knows what they're doing. I wouldn't believe it. So why should if God showed up in the cloud and yelled at me from the sky, I'd be like, that's not real. But the way he does talk to me, I hear it and I know when it's real. And I definitely know that I was supposed to go to church that day. Now let me tell you about last Sunday. Now I went to church again on Sunday, 2 weeks in a row. I don't hate this church now. I'm like, I didn't hate it before. I don't know if this is like my home church, to be honest. I don't know anybody. Um, I'll just keep this. How to? Okay, so I didn't know where to sit, but I saw somebody at church that I might like to meet. Take that for what it's worth, right? And so I'm like, maybe I'll sit in this area today. And so I was kind of like, just mulling around looking for a place to sit when everybody's filing in, right? So I'm like, well, maybe if I sit here, maybe I can meet someone cool. And so I sat where I thought I should sit. Now, when I went to church on Sunday last weekend, I got up late knowing I was going to church. So I didn't want to, I didn't really, I was like, how much am I really going to do before church in the morning? So I woke up late, didn't have coffee yet. So I took a big metal bottle carafe and I filled it with coffee, cold brew coffee and creamer, put a cap on it, took it with me. So I had coffee church. I walked in, didn't know where to sit. Kind of had an idea where I would like to sit. Just, you know what I'm talking. You know what I mean. I'm just not gonna say it, but I found a place to sit. Good view, the whole thing. And so I get that. I sit down. I have a sip of coffee. Put the cap back on. Put it on the floor in front of me as people are filing in. This guy shows up and he walks right in front of me, faces the front, and sits down in this chair directly in front of me. Directly in front of me. And the back of his shirt in big white letters said, "Coffee plus Jesus." And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, Jesus. I've never taken coffee to church. Never. Not once have I ever taken a coffee mug to church with me because I always have coffee before I go. And the thought would never cross my mind. But Sunday, I was like, I need coffee. I need some coffee and some Jesus. That's what I said to me out loud as I'm like, I need some coffee to go with Jesus today. And so I poured myself a big old carafe of coffee. I couldn't even finish it during church because it was so much. Sat down where I thought I should sit, like I was 100%, I'm like, I think this is a good spot. I sit there for like a minute. A dude in a bright red shirt sits right in front of me, directly in front of me. On the back of his shirt, it says "Coffee plus Jesus." Get out of here! How did I sit in that seat with my coffee the first time I ever brought coffee to church, and a guy in a bright red shirt shows up and sits directly in front of me with the "Coffee plus Jesus" shirt? After I just got done talking to Jesus saying, yeah, I need some coffee to go with Jesus today. Sorry, dog, but hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind. I'm bringing this with me. Obviously, he didn't mind. And I sat. I'm just saying, I had a reason for sitting there. God told me I sat in the exact seat that I was supposed to sit in on Sunday. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was your seat. I should put my name on that seat and sit there from now on. Like, for real. That was wild. That was wild. Now, the sermon, I got the same Holy Ghost power from the music. And I'm not even like, I can't stand Christian music. I don't like Christian music. I'm not even gonna try and sing it. I don't even know the words to the Jesus songs at church. And they're boring. I'm not gonna listen to that. I'm not pulling it up on Spotify. I'm not listening to it in the car. I won't even I'm not even gonna listen to it on Sunday. It's ah. I'm okay. I'm not gonna no, it doesn't do anything for me. But if I'm at a good church, even though I don't like the music, the Holy Ghost thing comes over me when they're singing and I feel it. And I'm like, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is that only happens when I'm at a good church. So I'm like, okay, that happened twice. That happened twice, and I haven't feel that. Honestly, I never even felt that when I was in Jamestown, even though I went to a good church in Jamestown. I never got that. I got that. The church in Jamestown didn't give me the Holy Ghost wave. It was more like I felt like I was in a good community surrounded by good people who all really genuinely wanted to get to know each other and were all great people and treated each other well. And they had really good dinners after church, potluck where everybody brought food and stuff. And like they all knew that I was homeless, or they knew without saying it, and they were just like, make sure you eat, And I'm like, don't worry. um, no, this place gave me the Holy Ghost wave twice in a row, and then the first time I went there, I didn't have that. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, all right, that says something. You got my attention. You got my attention. Now, last week's sermon I don't go to church every week expecting the pastor to write a sermon specifically for me. And no, that didn't happen last weekend. But like I told you, I packed a thing of coffee. I told Jesus I'm doing it. Hope you don't mind. I need some coffee. I didn't know where to sit. I'm like, there's a good I think I'm going to sit here for a specific reason. And a guy shows up directly in front of me with a coffee plus Jesus shirt and plants himself right in front of me. Right. So I'm looking at coffee plus Jesus the whole time I'm there on the back of this guy's shirt the whole day. And I'm laughing. I got nobody to share the story with because I don't know anybody there. And, you know, I'm not the most social person at church. I don't know. It's not, I don't know. There's something about, I'm very, very, very reserved. You see me on YouTube, I could give a shit. And I'll just say whatever I want. Like, you guys are all my best friends and like, we're all cool. At church, I'm like a clam. I'm like a wallflower. I don't say nothing to nobody. I'm just not until people's like, I'm very, 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 very hesitant to get jobs and church are two places where I'm very much like, "Nope, don't be me. Don't be you. Don't show people who you really are." So I don't talk to people until I really like if somebody says hi to me, I say hi back and blah 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 and this and that. But no, I'm like work and church are two places I really hesitate to let anybody know anything about me, even like a casual conversation. But um, you know, this is the kind of thing where if you keep going to the same place week after week, you might get to know some people, and then let me introduce you to my friends here and that. And I'm not antisocial. I just don't just jump. I don't jump into the pool. Like there's places I'll go swim. I'll be like, yeah, jump off a big rock. I don't even know how deep the water is. Fuck it. There's other places I go swim. I'm dipping my toe in the water, dipping a finger in the water. I'm not jumping into the water here. There might be some crocodiles, who knows what. Um Church is like that, work is like that, like going to a job. I learned the hard way. There was a time in my life where I would go to a job and make friends with everybody really fast. And we would all be going out, hanging out outside of work and this and that and the other thing. And then I just mentioned the story earlier when I got fired for going to the hospital for the birth of my son, I stopped. Like that was the day. That day. The next time I had a job, I kept my mouth shut. I never said shit to anybody. I would not be friends with people at work at all. None. The only time I would go out for like team bonding or team whatever the fuck you want to call it, going out to a bar, happy hour or whatever, is when the whole entire team is going and it's basically like a company thing. And I've got my exit strategy already in place to get the hell out of there as soon as I can, as gracefully as possible. And I'm drinking like one beer and I'm going to nurse that thing because I'm not going to be the crazy guy running around shit faced at the bar dancing on the tables and shit. Let that be Candy from HR. It's not going to be Adam. So, um, I'm just, church and work are two places where I'm like, but that's the thing. When, and so this is kind of okay. This is kind of what I was getting at when I said to Jesus that I need to go to church because I started seeing things. I shit post on X all the time. And I've been getting angrier and angrier and angrier and more worked up about these fucking retards in the cult, the red hat retard cult, the white mask COVID cult, Dr. Fauci's gang, and Daddy Trump's gang. and I can't stand any of them. And I'm getting more pissed off and more pissed off. And so all my posts became angry rants. Not like, fuck you, I'm going to show up and kill you, nothing like that. I know better than that. Believe me, if anybody knows better than to even remotely act like you're going to threaten somebody, take it from me. Don't do it. But it doesn't mean I can't I can still tell someone to go choke on a dick. That's covered under freedom of speech. Um, I can tell cat turd that I hope you get arrested for child pornography and I hope that you're innocent and still go to prison. Like, I'll say some pretty fucked up things to people. Um, and I started out my shit posting career on X trying to be funny. And like, I don't want to shit post unless it makes people laugh. And then after a while, I'm like, fuck you, go choke on a dick. And I'm like, that's the comedy's gone. I'm just angry and I'm bitching and I'm just pissed off. And we have every right to be pissed off at these fucking retards. Like, don't get me started. Like, they deserve it. But what good is it doing? And I'm like, I just see it like there's this like I'm getting angrier and angrier and angrier as time goes on. And am I at the level where I'm going to be saying some fucked up shit where the FBI is going to drive a tank into my front door? No. But it didn't. That was not a. It was. It took longer than a week for me to go that far down the rabbit hole when it happened. It started out, I worked for Gab. I worked for them. I helped build Gab, the front end user interface. I helped do it. Was I did some pretty cool stuff for them, but I was in it. And the social media and all the bullshit and the 2020 scam and the COVID scam and the whole, lockdowns and Dr. Fauci's mask brigade and all the fucking and take your vaccine. I lost a remote job. I got fired from a remote job that was remote before COVID. I got fired from a remote job because I wouldn't take the vaccine. And that was that started it, but that happened in the 2 weeks before Christmas 2021. And it took until August 12th, 2022 to get mad enough and angry enough that I finally lost my shit and went to prison for it, for Twitter posts. So it wasn't an overnight thing. But what I do remember is that I didn't go to church for years. I moved out into Amish country, out into the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. And I stopped going to church, like just stopped. It didn't mean I didn't believe in God, but I didn't go to church anymore. And there was a good church in my neighborhood. And this one girl that I was hanging out with for a while, she even told me it was a great place. She had been there. And it was in the same network of churches that I used to go to in Pittsburgh. So my favorite church of all time, this church was affiliated with that. Same as Jamestown, the church that I went to that I really liked was affiliated with these other churches. Same network of churches. Put it that way. It's called the Missionary Alliance. And it's based mostly in Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh Allegheny Center Alliance Church is the name of the church. And then there was a branch of that in Jamestown, New York, and there was one in Grove City, PA, but I never went to the one in Grove City. But if I was going to go to church, that probably would have been where I went first. But I just, you're busy, life, I'm busy, I got stuff to do. I got, your work night, you work all week and you got 2 days off. I got stuff to do today, and I did. My weekends were full. Going to church is not a big deal when you do it, but when you have, it's like going to the gym. I haven't gone to the gym in a few months. And now to go back to the gym seems like this outrageously difficult thing to do. But I was going 2-3 days a week before and it wasn't any big deal. But now I'm like, now it seems insurmountable. Church felt like that. And now that I'm in Houston, working, I work a lot on Sundays, getting caught up on client stuff and just getting my act together. And Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, every now and then, I'm like, man, I'd like to go to church again, but I got all this stuff to do. And So I just kept putting it off and putting it off, putting it off. Last 2 Sundays ago, Jesus was like, time to go to church. He just made it. He just told me to go. And I'm like, all right, why not? And the first thing I thought was like, I'm going to lose like 2 hours on getting my work done today if I go to church. And then I'm like thinking about it and I'm like, well, I'll take 2 hours to screw around and do something anyway this afternoon when I need to take a break. So what's the difference? I'll still get my work done. God's got my back. He's got me through a lot worse. All kinds of problems since I started going to church again. Officially, I started going to church again in jail. I started going to Bible studies and any worship that I could get my hands on, I was doing it. I read the Bible cover to cover, once cover to cover, and probably 2 or 3 times between all the other readings. And went to every Bible study, every freaking thing I could do. Studied the Bible. When you got nothing to do, you'll you'll find all kinds of stuff to do. And that was one of the things that kept me sane. And then when I got out of prison, my number one priority when I got out of prison was finding a church. Like straight up. I did that, like I'm telling you, the first Sunday that I was out of prison. I got out of prison on Monday. Tuesday I was had a roof over my head. It wasn't home. Fucking homeless was more of I had more of a home when I was homeless than I had then. But I decided to go to a church. And here's the fucked up thing about that is the psycho that I was living with, she got mad that I wanted to go to church because she didn't want anybody knowing about me and that she knew me, and like she didn't want anybody to know that her and I were like even that we even knew each other. She was afraid of what everybody in the neighborhood would think. Oh my God, this ex-con's coming to, like a child molester just moved into the fucking neighborhood and showed up on the Google child molester map, the registry or whatever you do. That's what I was being treated like for a fucking Twitter post. So I went to church. She got mad. She got mad as fuck because I was going to 2 churches that were like next door. And I'm like, you don't get to fucking tell me I can't go to church, you dumb motherfucker. So, and then she calmed down and then she was like Googling churches for me, trying to help me find a church because she knew she'd done wrong. But anyway, once again, I'm not mad. Like it's a story. Just I'm sharing a story of my past. Um, but right away, like the first Sunday I was out of prison, I went to church that Sunday and every Sunday until I came to Houston. I don't think I missed, I don't think I had a Sunday where I didn't go to church. Um, and then I came to Houston and I tried to go to church, but it was harder because I had to get a ride. And my friends, they like to go to this one church, but they didn't go every week. And I'd be like, let's go to church. And they'd be like, I don't know, like I get, like I've been lately. Yeah, it's the weekend. I don't, I only got 2 days off. All the same. I get it. I get it. Like I wasn't trying to be a dick and force them to take me to church. I could have rode my bike, go to church all sweaty and fucking spandex and biker gear, and a bike helmet. While everybody else is dressed in a suit. Whatever. Come as you are. That's what Jesus said. Come as you are. So that's how I'd be. But yeah, I just wasn't motivated. And so I went like years. I moved out of Pittsburgh in 2015, and I had already kind of been like lax on going to church. But in 2015, when I went out to Amishville all the way through to 2022, I never went to church once. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 5. Well, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7 years. I went 7 years without going to church. And the whole time I was in prison, I just could not help but wonder if I had been regularly going to church, that in and of itself would have kept me from crossing that line from being an obnoxious jerk to somebody who went to prison for a Twitter post. Like just the fact that like just having that thought, do I really want everybody who I go to church with seeing my Gab account today? Maybe I won't say that. You know what I mean? Like, do I really want everybody I go to church with to, see this side of me? Even that alone could have saved me 2 miserable fucking years of my life. Yeah, I swear all the time, and yeah, I talk like a pirate, and I just made a shit posting meme database so that you can spread shit posts all over the world on social media. Come one, come all. Bring the best memes you got. Yeah, I'm not Ned Flanders for crying out loud. Hidely hey. I'm not that guy. But I went to jail where some of the preachers that came in were wearing leather Harley jackets covered in tattoos, turned their life around after being in a motorcycle gang selling fucking meth. Is that Ned Flanders? Is he going? Is He's probably going to have an awkward time at church too. He's a, what do they call him? A motorcycle enthusiast. The Sons of Anarchy would have called him a motorcycle enthusiast. And now he's going to jails and preaching to people that'll actually listen to him because he's one of them. Ned Flanders could go to the fucking jail and nobody's going to go to his Bible study. But when Biker Dan shows up in his leather outfit and his fucking tattoos and his beard and shit and his fucking vest with the patches and whatnot, well, people are coming to see what he's got to say. So, you don't have to be Ned Flanders to speak about God. um, does God want me to chill with the swearing? I'm sure he does. If there was a time in my life I didn't think he cared, but then I looked it up in the Bible and he does. But that's something I've been swearing like this since I was like 4 years old. Like, no joke. I had a fucking garbage mouth when I was in like the third grade. I told jokes about tits and pussy when I was in the second grade and got sent home and from school, or not. I don't know, what do you call it? Like, I had to go stand in the corner. They sent a letter home to my mom, called her in to have a talk. Like, I'm telling tits and pussy jokes in front of the whole class, like show and tell. I'm like, check out this joke my grandma told me. I don't remember I could probably. Okay, it was like some joke where you took a calculator and she had like 8008 as boobs, and then like this and that, she, boobs and something else and this, and then you hold it upside down and it says, now she's loose. LOOSE. And the teacher was like, what in the fuck did you just? I told this joke in front of the whole fucking class in second grade about a hooker with boobs and a pussy, and she's loose now. And I got in trouble. Second grade. Second fucking grade. Like, do you think that's just something I can shut off? Like, oh, I'm not gonna swear anymore starting now. Yeah, that's gonna, let's see. How long's that gonna last? About 10 fucking minutes. Not eat, nope, 30 fucking seconds. So yeah, good luck. Good luck. And I'm surrounded by people who talk like me, not just in jail and prison. I was the polite guy in jail. I was the polite guy in prison. I was the guy who was like, oh my God, he's talks so proper. Look, he's like a white nerdy guy who must be a child molester. He doesn't even swear. The fuck I don't. But no, The prison guards would look at me like I'm weird because I don't swear as much as they do. Um, and that was prison. I worked in advertising and marketing and design and software. Let's talk about ad agencies and advertising. Have you ever seen the show Mad Men? Like that's dead accurate. Dead accurate. Don Draper and the gang, Mad Men. Oh my god, I love that show. Although it would just reminded me of going to work because when Mad Men came out, I worked at an actual ad agency in Pittsburgh, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is just like work." Everybody's fucking drunk off their ass and swearing and having affairs and like this, that, everything in that show was a dead ringer, dead ringer. And I had a boss, not at the ad agency, but another boss. Told you about this boss earlier. He used to throw temper tantrums. He'd throw his fucking phone against the wall. He'd scream and yell, F bombs, this, F that, fuck, fuckity, fuck, 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 with the door wide open, and 100 people could hear him down the fucking way. And everybody's like, I sat at a table with 50 people once, a big giant conference room table that seats 50 people. There's like 30 of us there, all sitting around this table, having a weekly meeting that we used to have every week. And he went off on some crazy shit, started swearing and throwing a tantrum. And he wasn't like yelling at us, he was standing up for us. He went to bat for us as a group. He loved us and we loved him, but he was going crazy. And I just looked up and I looked at everybody. I looked around the room and I'm like, Rod, I just want to tell you, man, it feels so good that for the first time in my career, I'm not the craziest guy at work. Thank you so much. Because it was the first time that there was somebody in the office who was crazier than me and that people had more to say about. This guy told Tom Cruise to go fuck himself to his face when Tom Cruise was outside of his apartment filming the Jack Reacher movie, the first one that they filmed in Pittsburgh. They were filming. I can point out the scene in the movie. His apartment, his building is in it. They had the whole parking lot blocked off, and he wanted to go. He wanted to go have lunch, like he would do. Real nice apartment. I've been there. Real cool fucking place. It was an old schoolhouse turned into these giant luxury apartments, but that he had a blackboard in the room, the size of it was this old fucking blackboard from the 1800s or whatever, covering this whole wall of this big giant apartment. It was fucking cool. And anyway, he's going across the parking lot and they're like, you can't go here. He's like, the fuck I can't. He's like, I live here, bitch. He's like, go ahead and try and fucking stop me. And he's like, guess what? I'm going to go over there. I'm going to eat my lunch. And then I'm going to come back outside. I'm going to walk across the parking lot again. And if you tell me I can't do it, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. How's that sound? And so they're like, they didn't know what to fucking do. Cut, cut, get out the clapboard, you know. So he's coming back out. And he starts walking across the parking lot in the middle of the scene. Cut, cut, you can't be here, blah, blah. They start yelling at him. He's like, fuck you, that whole thing again. Tom Cruise goes up to him and says, hey, man, that's not cool. And he's like, fuck you, you little stupid little dick. He starts telling Tom Cruise he's a stupid little dick. And Tom Cruise was dating Penelope Cruz at the time, and she was sitting on the hood of a car in the parking lot. And he looks over at her and he's like, holy shit. He's like, how the fuck can you put up with this fucking retard? Pointing over to Tom Cruise. And he's like, man, he's like, isn't all of his Scientology bullshit driving you up the fucking wall by now? Aren't you ready to tap out? Aren't you about ready to tap out? And he said that she had to put her hand over her mouth because she was laughing so hard. And a week later, it was all over the news that she dumped Tom Cruise or they broke up. So there you go. I got stories, man. But this guy was fucking crazy. Bona fide, certified nuts. But everybody loved him. He was awesome. He was a great boss. I love this guy. I would love to talk to him again. If he ever popped up in my fucking DMs or whatever, I'd be like, "Hey, what in the fuck is up, dog? Good to see you." I'd love to see him again. I think he moved to another state down south somewhere. I don't know. You lose touch with people, but so many stories, man. And but these are the people I hang. These are the people I've been surrounded by my whole life. So no, I'm not Ned Flanders. I'm not going to church being like "Heidly hey, doodly doo," da, 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 da. I'm not that guy. But I can still go to church. I can still believe in Jesus. Come one, come all. And so we're at 3 hours and 15 minutes, and I'm glad you all got to come and hang out tonight. It's been real. Um, I ain't not no, I don't no idea what's. I'm pretty much tapping out for the night after this. Meme Team 6, not touching it. I'm gonna make me some food. Probably, honestly, I'm like really low on food, easy food. I'm probably gonna throw a bunch of tots in an air fryer with some dipping sauce, and that's gonna be my dinner. I swear to God. Yeah, I'm like, what else could I do? That's about it. Or I could make it's like 9:15 if I wanted to run to the grocery store. I don't know. I f- didn't I was supposed to go to the grocery store Monday and I didn't. And now it's Wednesday and I keep putting it off. And I'll run out of coffee creamer probably tomorrow at some point and I'll have to be like, "All right, we're going." But that's what does it. Coffee creamer, certain things. So John asks next week video. Yeah, I mean, I want to keep the regular schedule, but I'm not gonna be like beholden to Wednesday 6 o'clock every week. Um, like that week, I was already burned out by the time Wednesday came, like exhausted, burned out, done. And so I figured Thursday or Friday would be a good day. And then when I had to, that was last week. Then when Thursday got here and I decided I had to move all these websites and set up a new web server and go through all the hassle and nonsense of basically like packing up a U-Haul, driving it somewhere. U-Haul moving sucks. And then you get moved into your new apartment and you're still living out of boxes and crap everywhere and the best you can do is like plop down a couch and put a TV on a cardboard box, and then you can just chill and watch TV for a couple days until you figure out how to hang the TV on the wall and all that. That's basically what my week has been like in the digital sense. So I just didn't have the energy to do that and to live stream. And I want to do videos. It's like tonight, it's 9:15. I've still got to get a video ready to go live tomorrow for a client, and I need to have like in between live stream and doing that tonight. That won't take long. It'll take me half hour at the most, maybe 15 minutes if I'm lucky. Probably close. I'm gonna say I gotta give myself half an hour, but that's all I need. But it's just constant. And I'm still living in Groundhog Day. Like there's still all these things I got to do that I don't know how to do, and I don't got time, and I want to have time, and I need to get time, and this new web server I set up, even though I took a day to do a fun project, there's other things I got to do. I got to bang out websites. And so, but I'm not like, come and get your website, come and get your web. I'm like the shoemaker with no shoes for myself because I'm trying to get caught up on everything. And then I'll be like, all right, come and get your website. And I got to build websites for clients and me. I've got like 4 webs. I got this meme team 6. I've got to put together a portfolio website to try. I'm still trying to get a real job if it's at all possible, but I'm going to put up a portfolio website for myself to get like a job. But it also serves because I'm also building a website for my company, Hard Rock Brand. And, but I don't have a lot of stuff to put in a portfolio. Like, here's what I've done that I could put on a company website, Hard Rock Brand, and say, my company did all this shit because my company didn't do all that stuff. It's all stuff I've done, but I was working for other companies. I was working for this company, that company, this agency, that agency. Some of it I'm not allowed to show. And so I'm going to make a personal portfolio and make it kind of like a biography kind of a thing. And I'll probably leave out the part, I'll probably leave the federal prison part out of the biography for now. Maybe who knows? Maybe I'll put it in and say, this is what I learned being an idiot. But that probably won't help me get a job. So I'm not, it'll be like my career history. And then I can put little screenshots and case studies of things that I've done that I'm probably safe to show that I can't put on my company website, but I can link my company website. It could be like there could be an about Adam link that takes you to there. And then that could have a link to go back to, I don't know how it's all going to tie together, but it's kind of a underhanded way of me putting more stuff in my portfolio that I can show people in a way that I can get away with doing it without getting in trouble. That's the best way to explain it. So I got that website, the company website, my photography website where you can buy photos and prints right from the website instead of having to go to Etsy. That's 3 websites right there. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4 client websites. Plus, so that's like closing in on like 10 to 12 websites by the time it's all said and done. Some of them are cut and dry and easy, some of them are more involved. But I got to get caught up on all that. And then I'll be like, okay, structure in place, rhythm in place. I've got other people that can help me get things done. I don't have to do it. I'm trying to set it up so that when the ball gets rolling, I have other people that can help. Cuz you don't run a company by yourself if you want to do, any volume of work. But there are things that other people can help me with that I don't like to do, don't want to do, that will help me grow. And then, I have a network. I know people. I know who to call if I have to, things get to that point. And but it's one day at a time. And I'm trying to like get out of that funk where I was burned out. I am a little burned out. But I kind of think that Jesus made my web hosting company screw up so bad to force my hand to move my websites because it kind of like triggered something in me. Now I'm enjoying working the last week or so. And I kind of got burned out and I wasn't enjoying it. And now I am. And you go through that. I mean, that's normal to go through that kind of ebb and flow when you do stuff like this. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows every day when you wake up, and some days you just have to get it done. But then you get excited about something and you're like, okay, this is fun again. And sometimes you just have to do something fun, like start a shit posting meme database with 6,780 memes for the public to steal and use to spread shit all over the internet with. That's, if that's my mission, so be it. It's done. It's up there. Memeteam6.org. And so that's where I'm at. What is this button here for? Oh, we don't need to do that. How do I make that go away? All right, well, I can't even see the chat anymore. What the hell, man? No. YouTube is oh my goodness, dude. The YouTube UI is so absolutely horrible for live streams. Here we go. Anyway, I'm gonna thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging. Get a little stuffy or something here. It's live, can't edit this out. I'll try to see you guys next week. Wednesday, maybe. That's the schedule I like to keep. Um, We'll see how busy, we'll see how it is. I could probably use the little announcements thing on YouTube to tell you when I'm going to go live, but usually I'll try and like set up a live stream date earlier in the week. I mean, yeah, but I kind of have to wing it right now. Thank you to the channel members. Thank you for the people who showed up tonight. Um, thank you for all the people that reach out during the week. We have conversations, I have conversations with multiple people throughout the week. You know, it's cool. I like hanging out with all of you. Hopefully, 8 months, game over with probation. I can get in my beat up car and see how far I can drive before it falls apart. Maybe I can come and hang out with some of you. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say, how do I do this? Peace out. And we'll hang out again later.